the mysterious organism 46b. Organism 46b is said to inhabit Lake Vostok, which is situated at a depth of almost 700 feet beneath the glacial surface of the ice in its shallowest section and around 2,600 feet at its deepest region. At this particular depth, the ice from the Antarctic glaciers experiences sufficient pressure to undergo melting and give rise to profound lakes. Organism 46b dwells within Lake Vostok, one of these deep lakes. An allegedly leaked paper pertaining to the initial endeavors conducted by Russian researchers on February 5, 2012, during their drilling expedition to the lake's surface, mentioned the existence of a species identified as Organism 46b. The report, titled Organism 46b, described a peculiar account by Russian scientists who allegedly came across a colossal squid of immense proportions residing in the lake. According to the report, this creature had the ability to release toxins into the water, compress its body into smaller dimensions, assume unusual shapes, alter its physical colors, and induce a mild form of hypnotism if observed for an extended period of time. Here are quotes from the supposed letter written by a man named Dr. Anton Padalka. "We encountered Organism 46b on our first day. It disabled our radio, which we later learned, to our alarm, was intentional. It's also able to paralyze prey from a distance of up to 150 feet by releasing its venom into the water. Tragically, my colleague and lifelong friend was taken out this way. He was treading water wearing a blissful smile as the organism approached him. It was as if it had hypnotized him telepathically. It shaped itself into the form of a human diver. We thought it was one of my colleagues swimming towards us in scuba gear. By the time the closest scientist had realized what it had grabbed him and torn him to bits." End quote. According to certain versions of the narrative, it is said that one of the creature's tentacles was amputated, but later regained animation and strangled another team member. According to the legend, only a small number of individuals from the expedition survived, and Russian officials apprehended the creature in an effort to conceal the incident. Although Organism 46b possesses extraordinary skills, its reported characteristics closely resemble those of real-world squid and octopus beings. Each capacity attributed to Organism 46b aligns well with the abilities observed in deep-sea cephalopods, which inhabit an environment characterized by comparable conditions of light, pressure, and water quality. This analysis of the possible capacity for telepathic abilities in the creature, as well as a scientific explanation of how this talent could be understood. Comprehending the telepathic capabilities of Organism 46b is a challenging and almost unattainable task, given that the mechanics behind telepathy remain mostly elusive in contemporary times. Nevertheless, it is possible to speculate about the factors that could potentially account for the telepathic skills of certain marine species based on assumptions and available evidence. It is crucial to acknowledge that there is much evidence and scientific research in the field of neuroscience which aims to decode the seemingly random electrical impulses of neurons into usable information that can be shown or comprehended. In 1999, a research investigation conducted by Dan Yang at the University of California, Berkeley, effectively replicated a cat's visual perception of the real world using raw data obtained from visual neurons. The utilization of poisons derived from Organism 46b appears to be based on actual instances of cephalopods employing minute quantities of deadly toxins in contemporary times. The blue-ringed octopus is a small octopus, approximately the size of a golf ball, that possesses a potent venom capable of causing the passing of 26 adult males if injected. The blue-ringed octopus possesses various peculiar talents, including the capacity for jet propulsion. It achieves this by channeling water, enabling it to move significantly faster in the water than other marine species. Organism 46b may potentially exhibit these skills and have the capability to expel poison, similar to an ink sac, in order to immobilize larger species. This is assuming the veracity of the size of the creature. If the assertions regarding Organism 46b are to be accepted as true, the creature possesses the subsequent capabilities that have enabled it to eliminate multiple persons within an exceptionally brief period. The black demon shark. Despite the widespread knowledge among scholars about the megalodon, a historic shark species larger than several present-day whale species, there are still claims of unrecorded sharks that surpass the great white shark in terms of size and strength. There is a widespread belief that it would have been highly unlikely for the shark species to survive, as some argue that it is impossible for any shark to grow to such an enormous size again. Nevertheless, this assertion appears to be at risk due to the emergence of tales regarding the sighting of a colossal black shark, commonly known as the black demon shark, in the vicinity of Mexico's Baja California peninsula. Several fishermen along the Mexican coast have reported sightings of a colossal black shark measuring approximately 60 feet in length. The shark bears a resemblance to a great white shark in terms of its body structure, but is distinguished by its dark pigmentation and exceptionally large tail. Considering the resemblance of these accounts to contemporary recreations involving megalodon skeletons, as well as their consistent tail size, some individuals have come to assume that this location could potentially serve as a hunting area for the beast. In addition, a significant number of the fishermen who have reported the sighting are experienced veterans in the field who have never previously made such claims and had extensive knowledge of various whale species in the area. A fisherman claimed an encounter with a shark while retrieving nets. He saw a collision with his boat, prompting him to investigate. Upon reaching the stern of his boat, he observed its length to be in excess of 30 feet. He then claimed to have spotted a dark-colored shark approximately 2 feet below the water's surface, speculating that this creature was responsible for the collision with his boat. According to the fisherman, the shark exceeded the length of his boat, measuring at least 35 feet. While observing it, he noted that it did not resemble any of the indigenous sharks in the vicinity. Despite having fished in this area for numerous years, this was his inaugural encounter with such a specimen. Curiously, he mentioned that most of the wildlife departed from the region at approximately the same time. Oceanic fauna may vacate a region in the presence of a shark as a result of an innate drive for self-preservation. Sharks are top-level predators that are renowned for their hunting and feeding habits on other aquatic organisms. Consequently, numerous marine creatures have developed the ability to detect the existence of a shark and react by swiftly moving away or concealing themselves in order to evade becoming a predator's meal. Furthermore, several fish species and other marine creatures possess the capability to perceive the electromagnetic fields generated by sharks through their muscles, enabling them to recognize the presence of a shark even in the absence of visual cues. This phenomenon is referred to as electroreception, and it may also play a role in the innate reaction of marine animals to the presence of a shark. Following the experience, the fisherman made an effort to meticulously record all the circumstances in the hope of unraveling the mystery of what he had encountered. Despite the passage of several weeks, the man failed to gain any further insight into the nature of the shark. However, he did observe that fellow fishermen in the vicinity also reported sightings of the same creature. They characterized it as a massive, dark-hued shark measuring more than 40 feet in length. Another possible explanation is that the shark could be a hypermelanistic great white shark, which has experienced hyperpigmentation and turned melanistic. This particular species of shark had the potential to reach its complete adult size. Hypermelanism is a biological condition where there is an overproduction of melanin, causing animals to have a darker skin color. This is in contrast to albinism, which is the absence of melanin resulting in a light skin color. This phenomenon has been observed in certain species of cat sharks and rays. There is a potential for it to occur in great white sharks as well, particularly those that reach lengths over 20 feet. The presence of hypermelanism in great white sharks might have substantial consequences for their physical appearance and behavior in their natural habitat, as well as for our comprehension. Currently, fishermen in this region are still encountering this sizable shark and continue to believe that this shark, measuring over 30 feet in length, actively preys on marine life in this area. The Carnival cruise monster. An unidentified creature, known as the Carnival cruise monster, was observed in the Gulf of Mexico from the deck of a cruise liner. The investigation was initially conducted by novelist Max Hawthorne, who introduced the term Carnival cruise monster. Paul George, a worker aboard a Carnival Cruise Line's ship, saw an unidentifiable monster that he reported looked similar to an ancient mosasaur. Only the torso and the cranium of the organism were ever observed or depicted. The object had a glossy, ebony appearance, characterized by taut and substantial leather-like texture. According to his account, the creature did not respire through a blowhole like a whale. Rather, it would emerge to the surface and respire in a manner similar to that of a crocodile. The object was reported to have a minimum length of 50 feet, surpassing the size of the ship's lifeboats, which measure approximately 30 feet. Despite Paul's characterization of it as whale-sized, he clarified that it did not possess the slender and elongated shape often associated with whales. The creature has a robust and muscular neck, giving it a broad physique. The interview conducted by Max Hawthorne with Paul George, a resident of the United Kingdom, who observed a massive and unidentified marine creature from the upper deck of the Carnival breeze in 2014, generated significant attention upon its initial release. The notion that something enormous and still unknown marine creature could potentially inhabit our waters and even serenely match the speed of a cruise ship in the heart of the Gulf of Mexico has captivated the minds of several individuals. Max made the decision to contact Paul George again, with the intention of narrowing down potential candidates for his observations. Accepting the anecdotal report as it is, Max endeavored to get a definitive conclusion regarding the identity of the Carnival cruise monster. Upon sharing with Paul various dorsal images of numerous large whale species, including the elusive beaked whale, Max reported that he reached the conclusion that he did not observe any type of cetacean. The absence of spouting, characteristic of whales, was observed. Instead, its exhalation originated from beneath the surface, a behavior commonly observed in marine turtles and crocodilians. Crocodiles engage in this behavior to achieve camouflage, which is highly advantageous for a marine predator that relies on stealth. Given the propulsion mechanism resembling a tail or caudal fin, it seems that the only plausible option left is a mosasaur or a marine crocodile. The color and texture of the object observed by Paul eliminates the possibility of it being a crocodile, and instead suggests that it is highly likely to be a mosasaur. The Lake Baikal humanoids. Lake Baikal, the oldest and deepest lake in the world, is located in Siberia and was used for regular training exercises by Russian Navy divers in the late 1980s. However, the findings they made during one of their dives were far from ordinary. Multiple divers reported witnessing mysterious humanoid beings, igniting significant curiosity and conjecture over their observations. Siberia, a Russian province, has been a lengthy location where UFO sightings and interactions with alien beings have been reported for numerous generations. One of the noteworthy places in Siberia where such occurrences have been witnessed is Lake Baikal. This extensive expanse of water is famous for its distinctive environment that supports a plethora of uncommon species. The swimmers in Lake Baikal once caused panic among Russian Navy divers because of their formidable strength, which unfortunately led to the passing of 3 divers as a result of decompression sickness. The Lake Baikal swimmers are a group of aquatic humanoid creatures that encountered Russian naval divers in 1982, evoking curiosity and fascination. This fascinating encounter took place during a typical military diving mission at a depth of 50 meters, which is comparable to 164 feet. The divers were suddenly captivated by the presence of a strange entity sharing the waters with them. The divers recorded observations of humanoid beings with extended bodies measuring up to 3 meters or 9 feet in length. In addition to their immense size, the divers discovered several indications suggesting that the entities they encountered were of extraterrestrial origin. These humanoid beings were distinct from anything observed on Earth, arousing curiosity and conjecture regarding their source and intention. The pictured creatures were distinguished by their silver contours, with select entities embellished with transparent orbs on their heads. These orbs have been compared to the visual representation of an unfurled umbrella positioned above the creatures' heads. This description provides a comprehensive portrayal of the figures, highlighting their unique characteristics that differentiate them from others. Upon resurfacing from the profound depths of Lake Baikal, the divers expeditiously communicated their astounding finding to a superior official. As a reply, the commander directed the divers to submerge again into the frigid waters and apprehend one of these mysterious marine creatures. A group of 7 courageous divers ventured into the lake once more, encountering the Lake Baikal swimmers. These swimmers demonstrated remarkable power by forcefully forcing the Soviet divers back to the surface. This extraordinary meeting not only demonstrated the diverse ability to recover quickly from difficulties, but also emphasized the incredible skills possessed by these elusive aquatic species inhabiting the depths of Lake Baikal. The insufficient presence of decompression chambers along the coastline led to a terrible scenario where all 7 divers could not be accommodated, resulting in 3 unfortunate divers succumbing to decompression sickness, also referred to as caisson disease or the bends. This sad episode represented a fatal shift in the attempts to communicate with the Lake Baikal swimmers. The insufficient allocation of resources to satisfy decompression requirements left the divers vulnerable to the lethal repercussions of their fall into the depths. Nikolai Kareev, a fisherman residing in the picturesque village of Kultuk, has recently regaled local historians with a captivating narrative, recalling a memorable fishing expedition from the 1990s. According to Kareev, while fishing at night with his friends, they witnessed a spectacular and puzzling sight. Supposedly, as they were fishing at night, they were amazed to see unusual events happening in the calm lake waters. Within the expansive Lake Baikal, the fishermen had a profound sense of trepidation when they encountered mysterious monsters that posed a threat of capsizing their boats, thereby submerging them into the frigid depths. The crew made a desperate attempt to catch one of these elusive silver creatures by using large nets in the cold waters. However, they quickly returned to the safety of the beach, feeling disturbed by the strange experience. Their frightening encounter had a profound impact on their minds, deterring them from ever returning to that specific region of Lake Baikal. Furthermore, apart from the evidence already provided, there is a folklore tale about a local farmer who shared a story with a traveler about legendary pharaohs living in the vicinity of the lake. According to the local legends, these pharaohs who lived in the lake were thought to have deliberately caused a boat to drown. This led the locals to respond by throwing nets into the water and managing to bring over 50 of these pharaohs onto the shore. This folklore not only enhances the local legends with an aura of mystery, but also exemplifies the deeply ingrained beliefs and habits that are widespread among the locals in that area. According to ancient tradition, pharaohs were supposed to have a humanoid form with heads, arms, hands and legs, but they also possessed paws and a fishtail. According to legend, the locals allegedly used birch rods to whip the pharaohs and then threw them back into the lake. This punitive action was not solely corporeal, it conveyed a potent symbolic significance. The pharaohs disappeared from the region, never to be witnessed again. The reports concerning the presence of humanoid beings have not been officially confirmed or refuted by the authorities. These reports have generated a substantial amount of curiosity and fascination within the paranormal world. Several theories have arisen to elucidate the origins of these humanoid beings. There is speculation that these occurrences could be the result of covert tests carried out by the government. However, alternative viewpoints suggest that these things might be of extraterrestrial origin, coming from outer space, or perhaps remains of a lost ancient civilization. The Corfu Island creature. A Scottish tourist in the Greek islands took an unusual picture of what looks to be an unidentified sea animal, and when the photograph was posted, it went viral. Harvey Robertson embarked on a boat excursion around the coast of Paga, navigating through sea caverns accompanied by his family. Initially, he attempted to capture the distinctive hue of the surrounding water using his iPhone camera. Robertson did not witness the species in real time, but while reviewing his video footage, he observed a grey creature that has a resemblance to a stretched-out manatee. In one photo, the peculiar creature emerges from the water, only to vanish behind the greenish water in the following image. The viral photo has generated conjecture among amateur zoologists and enthusiasts of mythical creatures over the identity of this peculiar animal, with suggestions ranging from a beaked whale to a hypothetical hybrid offspring of a hippopotamus and a crocodile. Although the image may share certain superficial characteristics with other animals, it does not resemble any known species. While the concepts are intriguing, marine researchers planning to embark on a lengthy research expedition in the picturesque Greek islands to study this creature may wish to postpone their travel arrangements, as the chimera has already been identified. According to Dr. Darren Neisch, a zoologist at the National Oceanography Centre at the University of Southampton and host of the Tetrapod Zoology podcast, conducting a skin sample biopsy of the creature would likely show significant amounts of polyvinyl chloride. Essentially, his belief is that the creature is a detached plastic freeboard fender, which is a boat accessory used for protection against damage that subsequently drifted away into the ocean. This theory is widely accepted among amateur researchers. Cassie. In the picturesque waters of Casco Bay, Maine, a legendary sea serpent known as Cassie has captured the imagination of locals and visitors for generations. Described as an enormous serpentine creature, Cassie is said to inhabit the deep, mysterious waters of the bay, occasionally surfacing to astonish and bewilder those fortunate enough to witness it. Despite skepticism from the scientific community, numerous credible eyewitness accounts and consistent descriptions suggest that Cassie is real and genuine. Casco Bay, with its rugged coastline, numerous islands and deep, cold waters, is an ideal habitat for a large, elusive sea serpent. According to local legends and testimonies, Cassie is described as a massive serpentine creature measuring between 50 to 100 feet in length. Witnesses report that the creature has a long, sinuous body, a horse-like head, and dark, smooth skin. Cassie is often seen undulating through the water, creating large waves and wakes as it moves. One of the most compelling aspects of the Cassie legend is the consistency of eyewitness reports. Over the years, numerous fishermen, sailors, and recreational boaters have recounted encounters with the sea serpent. These accounts often describe similar features and behaviors, lending credibility to the testimonies. For instance, in 1779, a group of American soldiers stationed on Peaks Island reported seeing a massive sea creature swimming in the bay. Their detailed descriptions matched those of later sightings, suggesting a long-standing presence of the creature in Casco Bay. Another notable encounter occurred in 1958 when a group of fishermen reported seeing Cassie near the shore of Harpswell. According to their account, the sea serpent surfaced close to their boat, giving them a clear view of its enormous serpentine body and distinctive head. The fishermen, experienced and familiar with the local marine life, were adamant that what they saw was not a whale, shark, or any known marine animal. Their sighting was corroborated by other boaters in the area, who also reported seeing a large, mysterious creature in the water. Further supporting evidence comes from the numerous photographs and videos taken by eyewitnesses over the years. While many of these images are inconclusive due to the challenges of capturing clear footage of a moving object in the water, some have provided intriguing glimpses of a large serpentine creature. These visual records, combined with the consistent descriptions from eyewitnesses, suggest that Cassie may be more than just a legend. The scientific community has long been skeptical of sea serpent sightings, often attributing them to misidentifications of known marine animals, floating debris, or optical illusions. However, the sheer number of credible sightings and the consistency of the descriptions make it difficult to dismiss the possibility of an unknown marine creature inhabiting Casco Bay. Marine biologists and those interested in the unknown have proposed several theories to explain the existence of Cassie, ranging from a surviving population of prehistoric marine reptiles to a previously undiscovered species of large eel or fish. One plausible theory is that Cassie could be a type of marine reptile, similar to the extinct plesiosaurs that once roamed the oceans. These ancient creatures, with their long necks and streamlined bodies, bear a striking resemblance to the descriptions of Cassie. While plesiosaurs are believed to have gone extinct millions of years ago, it is not impossible that a small, relict population could have survived in the remote and deep waters of Casco Bay. Another theory suggests that Cassie could be an exceptionally large specimen of a known marine species, such as an oarfish or giant eel. Oarfish, which can grow up to 36 feet in length, have long, ribbon-like bodies and are known to inhabit deep ocean waters. Similarly, some species of eels can reach lengths of up to 12 feet. If such creatures grew to even larger sizes in the deep, nutrient-rich waters of Casco Bay, they could easily be mistaken for sea serpents. The implications of discovering a real living sea serpent like Cassie are profound. From a scientific perspective, it would revolutionize our understanding of marine biology and the diversity of life in the oceans. The discovery of a new, large marine species would prompt further exploration and study of Casco Bay and other remote marine environments, potentially leading to additional discoveries of unknown creatures. Culturally, validating the existence of Cassie would honor the knowledge and experiences of the local communities who have long reported its presence. It would highlight the importance of integrating traditional ecological knowledge with scientific research, fostering a more inclusive and respectful approach to studying and conserving biodiversity. Local communities, with their deep connection to the land and sea, are invaluable partners in the search for and protection of such elusive species. The mysterious ningen. In the expansive and frigid waters of Antarctica, a diverse range of distinct organisms flourishes, not found in any other part of the world. Nevertheless, within this frigid domain, there have been reports of an exceptional entity that stands out due to its impressive height of almost 90 feet and its unsettling likeness to a human. The ningen, a mysterious entity often associated with old tales and legends, has an aura of mystique as it seemingly emerges from the depths. The presence of the ningen in the frigid waters of Antarctica remains perplexing and captivating, sparking conjecture and intrigue over its origins and importance in this freezing terrain. The ningen is a massive aquatic creature, often described as a gargantuan humanoid with a pale white skin tone and fin-like projections resembling human limbs. The skin of this creature closely resembles the sleek and fatty texture of a beluga whale. Based on reports from eyewitnesses, this mysterious creature is seen to have two large eyes located below its head and a broad mouth fashioned like a slit, with no other identifiable facial characteristics revealed thus far. Witnesses have observed and commented on the nocturnal behavior of the ningen, indicating that it is primarily active during the nights. According to reports, the ningen is most commonly seen at night, suggesting that it comes to the surface during the dark hours, either in search of food or to breathe while avoiding being noticed. During the 1990s, the ningen, a mystery creature, began to attract attention after Japanese fishermen reported an unusual experience with one of these things. The incident took place while they were sailing over the frozen waters of the Pacific Ocean under a calm, starry sky. At first, the crew mistakenly identified the enormous white object as a submarine emerging perilously near their boat. Upon careful examination, they discovered that it was not a man-made steel structure, but rather an enormous biological organism. The fisherman, filled with wonder, stood at the ship's side and was captivated by the immense size and pallor of this alien creature. The observers were captivated as they witnessed the creature moving smoothly and silently over the surface of the ocean before vanishing into the frigid and obscure depths. The fishermen were left in a state of astonishment and curiosity by this remarkable occurrence, which permanently imprinted the image of the mysterious ningen in their brains. Following the initial sighting report, multiple fishing vessels in the southern Pacific Ocean near the Arctic region started to exchange stories of witnessing these remarkable and immense creatures. The plethora of reputable sources consistently gave a striking depiction. The colossal being was distinguished by its exceptionally massive, pallid body, adorned with two big eyes situated above a substantial slit-like mouth. Furthermore, it had appendages that bore a resemblance to limbs, albeit in a rudimentary manner, resembling human arms and legs. Estimates of the dimensions of these creatures varied greatly, ranging from 20 to 90 feet in length, little smaller than the remarkable size of a blue whale. The appearance of these mysterious beings aroused curiosity and fascination among the observers, leading to additional research and investigation of these unexplainable occurrences. As the number of recorded sightings increased, concerns about the validity of the ningen creature started to emerge, leading to conjecture that it might be a hoax. Soon after, digitally altered photographs started spreading online, overwhelming forums and chat rooms. While many people considered the existence of the ningen to be purely imaginary, there were certain groups of persons who strongly believed that this mysterious creature, with a physical body, silently moved across the freezing Arctic waters. Despite the widespread doubt, these unwavering believers remained firmly convinced that the ningen was not a figment of imagination, but an actual creature navigating the frigid depths. Since being first discovered over 30 years ago, the mysterious object known as the ningen has generated extensive conjecture, with some proposing that it may be an instance of misidentification involving a recognized species. Certain researchers hypothesize that the phenomena witnessed by individuals could perhaps be attributed to the existence of a substantial, yet unidentified, subspecies of albino ray or skate that resides in the extremely cold waters. The alleged albino characteristic of this organism may confer an evolutionary benefit by enabling it to camouflage itself inside the frigid Arctic surroundings. Conversely, skeptics contend that individuals who claim to have seen the ningen might be mistakenly identifying it as known whale species, such as belugas or bowhead whales. Nevertheless, similar to other cases involving mysterious creatures, the verification of the ningen's existence continues to be difficult to get. The determination of its actuality depends on finding a physical specimen that definitively confirms its existence, or on thorough scientific examinations that consistently fail to provide any evidence supporting its presence. The remarkable feature of ningen sightings is in the uniformity of witness descriptions across various testimonies. Several persons from various backgrounds and different geographic regions have reported coming across a creature that closely resembles the ningen, which adds legitimacy to the phenomenon according to its supporters. The witnesses confirm the creature's impressive magnitude, its ethereal manifestation, and its seemingly conscious motions as it traverses the frigid depths of its aquatic realm. Various theories have been put up to elucidate the genesis and essence of the ningen, spanning from credible to imaginative. Some propose that the monster might be a newly found species that has evolved to survive in the harsh circumstances of the Antarctic environment, while others theorize that it could be a mutated or genetically modified organism originating from secretive scientific research carried out in the area. Although there is doubt and disagreement over the existence of the ningen, its tale continues to endure as evidence of humanity's continuing curiosity with the mysteries of the natural world. Expeditions to Antarctica persist in seeking evidence of this strange creature, motivated by a want to reveal the veracity behind the stories that have captivated the minds of numerous individuals. Without conclusive evidence, both believers and skeptics are forced to contemplate the mystery of the ningen and its potential presence in the unexplored depths of the Antarctic Ocean. Regardless of whether the creature is an actual living organism, a cultural occurrence, or something much more peculiar, its myth persists as a reminder of the limitless marvels and mysteries that exist beneath the harsh and isolated regions of our world. The Hook Island Sea Monster. In the annals of maritime mysteries, few tales are as captivating and mysterious as that of the Hook Island Sea Monster. First sighted in 1964 in the pristine waters of Stonehaven Bay, Hook Island, Queensland, Australia, this extraordinary creature has captured the imaginations of both believers and skeptics alike. The narrative commences on December 12, 1964, when Robert Le Serec, a photographer from Brittany, captured photographs of a marine creature during his vacation with his family and his companion Henk de Jong at Hook Island, Queensland, Australia. The creature, found lying on the floor of Stonehaven Bay, resembled a colossal tadpole measuring 24 meters or 79 feet in length. The environment was dimly lit, with dark horizontal stripes spanning the length of the body. The most renowned photograph, which strikingly resembles an authentic representation of an actual creature, is prominently included in numerous works on mysterious creatures and the exploration of strange phenomena. It is worth mentioning that in addition to the ones mentioned, numerous other individuals were also captured, some from a nearby location and others from a very close distance. The creature is clearly visible with two pale specks that resemble eyes. Additionally, there is a light-colored area located close to the bottom of the tail. According to Le Serec, the creature's injury was caused by a ship's propeller, which is why it was found resting in a lagoon. Le Serec added that he and de Jong dove underwater to get a better look, but changed their minds when the creature raised its head off the underside and opened its lips. Finally, it departed by swimming away. Le Serec initially recounted his narrative in the March 1965 edition of Everyone magazine. By that point, the investigation had been undertaken by individuals who had a genuine interest in monsters, specifically Belgian researcher Bernard Heuvelmans and his associate Ivan T. Sanderson. Sanderson came to the conclusion that the images did not depict an animal, but rather could have been a roll of cloth with a few ties strung together, a deflated skyhook balloon covered in weeds, or a plastic bag used by the US Navy for experiments in towing petrol. Heuvelmans also had suspicions and conducted investigations. A conceivable hypothesis is that the Hook Island sea monster may belong to the category of big eels, such as the conger eel or moray eel. Both species are recognized for their presence in the waters surrounding Hook Island and have the ability to attain remarkable lengths. Nevertheless, the creature's unique cranial structure and bodily dimensions, as seen in the images, do not completely correspond to those of recognized eel species, therefore allowing for more conjecture. Finding a genuine, live sea monster such as the Hook Island sea monster has far-reaching consequences. From a scientific standpoint, it would completely transform our comprehension of marine biodiversity and the evolutionary chronicle of marine organisms. The identification of a novel, substantial marine species would stimulate subsequent investigation and analysis of the Earth's waters, potentially resulting in further revelations of unfamiliar organisms and ecosystems. From a cultural perspective, confirming the existence of the Hook Island sea monster would acknowledge and respect the knowledge and experiences of individuals who have documented such encounters over the course of history. It would emphasize the significance of combining traditional ecological knowledge with modern research, promoting a more comprehensive and respectful approach to understanding and preserving marine biodiversity. Local communities, because of their strong affiliation with the ocean, are crucial allies in the quest for and conservation of these elusive species. The Gloucester sea serpent. A fabled creature from American tradition, the Gloucester sea serpent is said to have been spotted off the coast of Gloucester, Massachusetts, and the Cape Ann region. The peak period of sightings commenced in August 1817 and extended until 1819. The Gloucester sea serpent is a colossal serpent-like creature with humps running along its back. It has been the focus of several sightings and accounts of encounters by fishermen and sailors. John Josselyn recorded the earliest reported sighting of a monster like this off Cape Ann in 1638. Intermittent observations persist throughout the 21st century. The first documented sighting of the Gloucester sea serpent occurred in 1817, following reports from the indigenous people of Cape Ann about a sea serpent. According to witnesses, a group of fishermen observed a creature resembling a serpent, measuring approximately 60 feet or 18 meters in length, with a turtle-like head, swimming in the waters near Gloucester's coastline. The sightings persisted intermittently throughout the 19th century, with numerous local fishermen asserting to have observed the creature while at sea. In August 1817, the Gloucester sea serpent was famously sighted by a crew of men on the schooner Caravan. They observed a sizable monster with a serpentine head and a hump-shaped body swimming alongside their ship. The crew discharged a cannon at the creature, however. It submerged under the ocean and remained unseen thereafter. Over time, there have been many additional sightings of the Gloucester sea serpent, with accounts of the creature differing significantly. It has been characterized by some as a serpentine monster of considerable length, while others have observed a creature with a hump on its back and a head resembling that of a horse or a dinosaur. Due to the large number of eyewitnesses, potentially numbering in the thousands, and the comprehensive study by the Linnean Society, this sea snake is considered one of the most extensively recorded creatures of its kind. The existence of the Gloucester sea serpent continues to be a topic of controversy and skepticism, despite the abundance of sightings and accounts of encounters. Speculation has arisen regarding the creature's identity, with some proposing that it could be a sizable eel species, while others have posited that it might be a fabrication or a case of mistaken identification of existing marine fauna. The most recent observation possibly occurred in approximately 1980, when the crew of a Gloucester fishing vessel reported a near brush with a sea snake that closely resembled the creature described. Initially, the fishermen made a commitment to remain silent about their experience, but the narrative eventually became known to others. When interrogated, the collective stated that they were seasoned anglers and have a comprehensive understanding of what they observed. The creature's appearance was unprecedented to them, and when it directed its gaze towards them, its serpent-like eyes emanated sheer malevolence. The men refrained from discussing it further. Champ, the Lake Champlain monster. The largest lake in the Adirondacks, Lake Champlain, offers the ideal environment for boating, fishing, water sports, and swimming with giant fish. Throughout the decades, tales and purported observations of a colossal aquatic creature have captivated the minds of residents, tourists, and even academics. The Abenaki and Iroquois, indigenous peoples who have resided and engaged in hunting activities in the vicinity of Lake Champlain for an extended period, had their own oral traditions concerning the existence of a substantial creature dwelling within the lake. This creature is described as resembling a sizable serpent, or colossal snake adorned with horns. The beast is referred to as Jitaskog in the Abenaki language. In the early 18th century, the Abenakis cautioned French explorers from disturbing the lake's waters in order to avoid unsettling the serpent. Samuel de Champlain, for whom the lake is called, is frequently mistakenly attributed as the first European to spot Champ. However, careful examination of his writings reveals that he really observed something in the vicinity of the St. Lawrence River. However, his description of the sighting is intriguing for those fascinated by water creatures. Additionally abundant in several species are the fish, according to Champlain's description. One of the names used by the locals for this particular species is Kausaru. It comes in different sizes, with the largest ones measuring between 8 and 10 feet in length, according to information provided by these tribes. The body of the fish closely resembles that of a pike, but it is covered in scales that are a robust, silvery grey tint. These scales are so resilient that they cannot be pierced by a dagger. According to historians who have studied the area, they have suggested that Champ is most likely a garfish. The subsequent renowned narrative is documented in the Plattsburgh Republican newspaper on Saturday, July 24, 1819. Last Thursday morning, Captain Crum, who was on a scow in Bulwaga Bay, witnessed a black creature that was around 187 feet long. The creature had a head that resembled a seahorse and rose more than 15 feet above the water. The individual asserted that the creature they encountered possessed a total of 3 fangs, eyes resembling the hue of a peeled onion, a white star marking on its forehead, and a distinctive red band encircling its neck. The level of detail provided about the object, as reported by the witness, is quite impressive considering that it was located approximately 200 yards distant. A train crew on Lake Champlain reportedly spotted the head of a massive serpent with brilliant silvery scales that gleamed in the sunlight. Both the men and the monster separated at that location. In July of that same year, Sheriff Nathan H. Mooney of Clinton County reported the sighting of a colossal snake or water serpent, estimated to be between 25 and 35 feet in length. In August, the steamer W.B. Eddy collided with Champ. According to the passengers on board, the ship came close to capsizing. There have been 180 sightings by 1992, with about 600 people reporting to have seen Champ all over the lake. Enthusiastic children frequently traverse the lake by ferry in search of the lake monster, eagerly anticipating a glimpse. Some individuals were able to capture photographs of what they asserted to be Champ. Similar to its legendary counterpart in Loch Ness, sightings and photographs of Champ are subject to extensive debate and analysis. A new wave of sightings emerged in the 21st century, numbering in the double tens every summer and attracting attention from television networks in Japan. In 2003, the Discovery Channel aired a program specifically focused on America's Loch Ness monster, following the occurrence of 3 new sightings by June of that same year. Champ has been featured in Discover magazine and academic journals. Photographer Sandra Mansi, an amateur, published an image in 1977 that seemed to depict the neck and body of a plesiosaur protruding from the lagoon. The mysterious Bear Lake monster. Nestled between the borders of Utah and Idaho, Bear Lake is a picturesque and tranquil body of water, renowned for its stunning turquoise waters and serene surroundings. However, beneath its placid surface lies a legend that has captivated locals and visitors for generations: the Bear Lake monster. Described as a large, serpentine creature, the Bear Lake monster is said to inhabit the depths of the lake, occasionally surfacing to astonish and bewilder those fortunate enough to witness it. Despite skepticism from the scientific community, numerous credible eyewitness accounts and consistent descriptions suggest that the Bear Lake monster is real and genuine. The legend of the Bear Lake monster dates back to the early 19th century, when Native American tribes in the region told stories of a large, mysterious creature inhabiting the lake. According to these accounts, the creature was serpent-like, with a long, sinuous body and a head resembling that of a horse or a dog. The Shoshone and other tribes believed the monster to be a guardian spirit of the lake, and they warned settlers to be cautious when venturing into its waters. The first widely publicized sighting of the Bear Lake monster occurred in 1868, when Joseph C. Rich, a Mormon settler and journalist, reported a series of encounters with the creature in the Deseret News. Rich's articles described the monster as a serpent measuring between 30 to 50 feet in length, with a head similar to that of a crocodile and large, dark eyes. According to Rich, the monster was seen by multiple witnesses, including local fishermen and settlers, who all provided consistent descriptions of the creature. One of the most compelling aspects of the Bear Lake monster legend is the consistency of eyewitness reports over the years. Numerous individuals have recounted encounters with the creature, describing similar features and behaviors. In the early 20th century, a group of fishermen reported seeing a large, dark shape moving beneath their boat, causing it to rock violently. They described the creature as having a long, serpentine body and a head that emerged briefly from the water before disappearing into the depths. Another notable encounter occurred in 1946, when a group of scouts camping near Bear Lake claimed to have seen the monster swimming near the shore. According to their account, the creature's body was partially visible above the water, and it moved with a powerful undulating motion. The scouts' detailed descriptions matched those of previous sightings, adding to the credibility of their report. Further supporting evidence comes from local folklore and cultural traditions. The legend of the Bear Lake monster has been passed down through generations, becoming an integral part of the region's heritage. Such continuity in cultural depictions indicates that the creature is more than a mere myth. It is a deeply ingrained part of the community's collective consciousness. Local residents often refer to the monster affectionately as Isabella and recount stories of their ancestors' encounters with the mysterious creature. The HMS Daedalus sea serpent encounter. On August 6, 1848, crew members of the British Royal Navy ship HMS Daedalus reported witnessing a gigantic sea serpent in the mid-Atlantic Ocean. This was the HMS Daedalus sea serpent sighting. The creature was described as being around 60 feet long, with a neck that rose about 6 feet out of the water and a head that resembled that of a snake or lizard. The description of the creature's body included its thickness, scale-covered appearance, and alternating light brown and black coloring. It was also reported to have raised and lowered humps on its back that resembled waves. The ship's captain, Peter McKee, was among the crew members who apparently saw the event, which lasted for about 20 minutes. The monster looked to be traveling eastward at a speed of about 15 miles per hour. The event generated a lot of discussion and conjecture regarding the existence of sea monsters and received extensive media coverage. While some doubters wrote off the sighting as a mistaken identification of a well-known animal, such a whale or a huge squid, others thought it was evidence of the existence of hitherto undiscovered species. Strangely enough, people who have lived most of their lives at sea have seen and described this creature. As a result, researchers studying the unknown have claimed that they would have no trouble identifying local marine life, which supports the theory that the crew saw a strange, unidentified creature. Many theories and analyses of the reports have been made in the years following the sighting. Some have proposed that the creature might have been a crew hoax, or that it was a mistaken identification of a known animal. Still, it's one of the most well-known and fascinating sea monster sighting tales in history. The Stronsay beast. Even though Orkney is full of legends about sea serpents and mythological sea creatures, there have been surprisingly many historical sightings of these creatures that have become part of the island's folklore. The first, and arguably most well-known of several incidents involving the bodies of what looked to be long-necked sea animals, washed up on the coast there in 1808. On September 25, 1808, the Stronsay beast was first seen on the southeast coast of the island, reclining atop rocks at Rothisholm Head. A local man named John Peace was fishing off the coast when he noticed seabirds gathering around what appeared to be an animal's corpse on the rocks. Peace turned his small boat and approached the corpse, while George Sherrar, another man from Stronsay, watched. However, what he discovered was not like anything he had ever seen. The bones of a massive reptile with 3 pairs of legs and an eel-like neck were laying atop the rocks. A closer look could not be conducted at the time since the corpse was unreachable. But 10 days later, the decaying remains washed ashore just below the high tide line by one of Orkney's legendary gales. Now that Sherrar got a chance, he examined the corpse, measuring the size of the sea monster and scrutinizing it in great detail. The creature was described as serpentine, with a length of precisely 55 feet and a neck that was 10 feet 3 inches in length. With eyes larger than a seal's, The head resembled that of a sheep. To the touch, its skin felt rough and grey. However, it was described as being smooth as velvet when stroked from the head down the back. The creature had 6 limbs growing out of its body, and a long, wiry mane of bristles grew from its shoulders all the way down to its tail. It was said that their silver-coloured bristles gave off an unsettling glare at night. By the end of September, word had gotten out about Stronsay's monster. The 4 guys who had initially examined the cadaver were brought to Kirkwall because the remnants had decayed away to almost nothing. They were required to vouch for the accuracy of their information in front of the magistrate there. Soon after, the amazing discovery was reported to a natural history society in Edinburgh. Halcedrus pontopidani was the Latin name given to the creature during the society's November 1808 meeting. The moniker, Pontoppidan's water snake of the sea, was given in commemoration of a Norwegian bishop who gathered sea monster accounts in the 18th century. The naturalist Sir Everard Home read about the Stronsay beast shortly after that. He looked at what remained of the evidence, intrigued by the stories of a sea monster. But he was certain that the object was nothing more than the carcass of a decaying basking shark, which are frequently seen in the waters near Orkney. Home discovered that the vertebrae of the monster were exactly the same as those of a basking shark. However, how could the long-necked animal that washed ashore on a beach at Stronsay possibly be a basking shark's remains? The physiology of the basking shark, more specifically its post-mortem decay, holds the key to the solution. The shark's jaws, which are only held together by a thin strip of flesh, first fall off, leaving behind what appear to be the remnants of a little skull and a long neck. The lower half of the tail fin rots away to give a believable serpentine tail, while the upper part of the tail fin carries the spine. The surviving rays may resemble a mane of hair when the dorsal fin starts to break down. All 6 of the monster's legs are easily explained as the remnants of the shark's lower fins. However, the mystery is far from over. The story is still shrouded in mystery, even if the Stronsay beast was nothing more than a basking shark. The Stronsay beast's remnants are 15 feet larger than the longest basking shark ever measured, which was just 40 feet long. The shark that broke down to create the Stronsay beast must have been a giant in its own right, measuring 55 feet from tip to tail. The mysterious U-28 creature. People have been both captivated and mystified by the U-28 creature's narrative for decades. The story is veiled in mystery, with tales and sightings dating back to the early 1900s, but the truth about this mysterious monster is still unclear. The huge serpentine creature known as the U-28 creature, or U-28 sea monster, is rumoured to live in the ocean's depths. Although there are differing accounts of the creature, it is commonly described as having a long, skinny body covered in scales, enormous eyes that protrude, and a gaping maw that is full of razor-sharp fangs. The reports state that the animal was seen swimming in the Atlantic Ocean about 10 miles off the coast of Ireland. The U-28 crew claimed to have seen a large, enormous creature that resembled a sea snake or a prehistoric plesiosaur. It had a long neck and a small skull. It was estimated that the creature was around 60 feet long, with a head that was roughly 6 feet long. The crew of the U-28 saw that the monster was coated in barnacles and had a black, scaly skin when they got closer. According to reports, the creature swam swiftly through the water, moving away from the submarine and out of sight. The true identification of the U-28 creature is still unknown, despite the fact that numerous suggestions have been proposed to explain it, such as the chance that it is a misidentified whale or another well-known sea creature. Researchers have been fascinated by the experience and have speculated about it extensively. People who are curious about the unexplained and the unknown frequently discuss it. The creature's reports state that it was encountered on July 30, 1915, when German U-boat commander Freiherr George G. von Forstner wrote a detailed report after attacking the British steamer Iberian. He claimed that after the steamer sank, the object appeared to be a large aquatic animal that was described as being about 80 feet in length and resembling that of a large crocodile. According to researchers, accounts of the U-28 monster closely resemble the whale-eater monsters from interactions that date back hundreds of years. The whale-eater has been consistently sighted over the past 8 centuries all across the planet, with some major sightings occurring well into the present era. The estimated length of the monster is 43 feet. Its features include an extended head, a short neck, a body like a crocodile, 4 flippers for movement, and a short tail. Sailors have told amazing tales of enormous sea creatures that are rumored to hunt down and devour whales of all sizes since the 13th century. The whale-eater is thought to be a survivor of the Pliosaurus marine reptile species, which was thought to have become extinct 65 million years ago, according to research estimates. The whale-eater's crocodile-like look would fit the pliosaur description perfectly and account for the numerous sightings reported throughout history. In addition, a 65-foot whale was discovered beached on St. Austell's sandy shore on August 13, 2012. The whale unexpectedly died before any attempts were made to save it. The whale's face was covered in deep gashes that resembled a single gigantic bite mark, according to scientists who examined the animal. The teeth-like punctures on the whale's face curved uniformly into a U shape. The encounter rattled the crew of the U-28, and word of the unexplained marine creature soon got around the German Navy. Some thought the creature was a fabled sea monster, while others surmised that it was a kind of marine reptile that had never been found before. Numerous sightings of the U-28 creature have been reported in waters all over the world since that tragic encounter. Claims of encounters with the monster have been made by sailors, fishermen, and ocean explorers. Their descriptions of its features and habits match those of the U-28 crew. The reliability of the witnesses and the consistency of the tales are used by proponents of the U-28 creature as proof of its existence. They contend that a big, secretive species may very well stay out of sight for humans because the waters are so wide and mostly uncharted. People all around the world are still enthralled by the mystery surrounding the U-28 creature, which has sparked a gazillion stories of exploration and adventure. The mythology of the creature serves as a reminder of the many secrets that exist beneath the ocean's surface, regardless of whether it is based on a true, unknown species of marine animal or is merely the creation of myth and folklore. We may never truly know the truth about the creature as long as the seas remain unexplored and wild. The USS Stein monster. A strange and inexplicable phenomenon known as the USS Stein monster appeared in the Pacific Ocean in 1976. The event has grown to be one of the most well-known instances of purported contacts with unexplained underwater objects, and it is still a topic of discussion and conjecture. In 1976, the USS Stein, a destroyer of the United States Navy, was operating normally in the Pacific Ocean. Reports state that while the ship was on patrol, the crew started to notice odd things. When an unexpected issue arose in 1978, the USS Stein, a frigate according to the US Navy, had to veer off course and head back to its home base. Abruptly, the radar system that was supposed to be monitoring submarine threats ceased working. The crew noted that the massive dome that was affixed to the front of the ship's hull was probably the source of the issue, and the ship proceeded to dry dock to investigate. This dome weighted more than 59,000 pounds, according to crew members. When the engineers examined the sonar dome, they saw something unexpected happen. Approximately 8% of the dome's surface was covered in huge tears due to the full tearing of the rubber coating. At the time, something of considerable strength caused such serious damage that some of the tears were up to 4 feet long, according to a Navy article. The massive wounds were so large that the covering needed to be examined by Navy biologist F.G. Wood in order to determine what had happened. Examining the dome, he saw that the wounds were quite deep and deduced that the marks matched those of a large squid. The problem with this theory is that the squid in question would have needed to be approximately 45 meters, or 150 feet, long in order for it to have made these cuts. The Navy paper went on to explain that experts had never before observed the creature's enormous size, but it did speculate that it might be a previously undiscovered species. The gigantic squid is now the largest species of squid. These enormous deep-sea animals are well known for their enormous size. Some have been reported to grow up to 43 feet, or 13 meters in length, and weigh up to 600 pounds. With its long, strong tentacles and keen beaks, the giant squid is known for being a vicious predator that can eat a wide range of food, including fish, crabs, and other squid. Giant squids are infamously elusive, with virtually little being known about their behavior or life cycle in the wild, despite their enormous size and power. In 1673, off the coast of Norway, people were first known to have spotted a giant squid. A group of seamen reported seeing an enormous, strange beast assaulting their ship. The creature was believed to be so big that it could wrap its arms around the ship. It was characterized as having long, tentacle-like arms and a gigantic, bulbous head. Many more sightings of enormous squids have been reported over the years, but very few have been verified or recorded. Giant squids have occasionally been discovered washed up on beaches, giving researchers important specimens to examine. In some instances, deep-sea researchers or fishermen have managed to catch gigantic squids, giving scientists a close-up look at the organisms. But even with these infrequent meetings, a lot of information regarding the biology and behavior of giant squids is still unknown. They are challenging to research due to their deep-sea habitat and elusiveness, and there are still many unanswered concerns regarding their life cycle, behavior, and place in the ocean environment. Researchers looking into the massive markings on the USS Stein's sonar dome hypothesized that the squid that caused them was probably one of the biggest ones that was out in the water. Some speculated that the offending squid might have possessed extraordinary deep-sea gigantism. The tendency of certain marine organisms to develop to bigger sizes in the deep sea than their equivalents in shallower seas is known as deep-sea gigantism. Numerous animals have shown this tendency, including gigantic squid, octopuses, and some kinds of fish and crustaceans. Although the precise causes of deep-sea gigantism are yet unknown, a number of elements may be involved. The idea of oxygen limitation is among the most often used justifications. Because there is less oxygen available in the deep sea than there is in shallower seas, certain species may not be able to grow as much or engage in as much metabolism. Larger individuals may benefit selectively from this, since they have a higher surface area to volume ratio and could be better at drawing oxygen out of the water. The profusion of food could also be a factor in deep-sea gigantism. Food in the deep sea can be erratic and limited. Therefore, animals who can eat a lot of it when it's available may have a selection advantage. This could help to explain how some deep-sea crustacean species, such giant amphipods and isopods, have developed to reach such enormous sizes. Deep-sea gigantism may be caused by genetic and/or evolutionary reasons, in addition to these ecological ones. According to some experts, the distinct environmental conditions found in the deep water may have facilitated the emergence of particular characteristics that support bigger body sizes. For instance, animals with larger eyes may be better able to identify prey and navigate their surroundings due to the severe pressure and darkness of the deep water. There is no denying that one of the most intriguing and strange features of marine biology is deep-sea gigantism, even though the precise causes of this phenomenon are still up for debate. There may be some similar ecological and evolutionary reasons at work, given the diversity of organisms that have evolved to reach such big sizes in the deep sea. Utilizing submersibles, remotely operated vehicles, and other instruments to probe the ocean's depths, scientists are now able to examine deep-sea animals at a closer range than they were previously able to, thanks to technological advancements in recent years. In addition to helping to solve some of the puzzles surrounding deep-sea gigantism, these initiatives have produced fresh insights on the biology and behavior of deep-sea creatures. We will probably discover even more about the amazing organisms that live in this mysterious and little understood environment as our knowledge of the deep sea expands. The mysteries of deep-sea gigantism continue to enthrall and excite scientists and amateurs alike, regardless of the enormous squid, massive crabs, or other deep-sea giants that we are studying. The mystery of the St. Augustine sea monster. About 12 miles south on Anastasia Island, 2 boys on the beach discovered a big pile of flesh that had washed up. This occurred in late November of 1896. Upon returning to St. Augustine on their bicycles, they informed local physician Dr. DeWitt Webb, who was not only the founder of the St. Augustine Historical Society and Institute of Science, but also a respected medical professional. Dr. Webb conducted a visit to the location on December 1st, which was one day after the remains were found. Allegedly, he was one of the few individuals with an academic background who witnessed the enormous gathering in the field. Dr. Webb concluded that the bones were of a colossal mollusk, measuring 18 feet in length and 7 feet in width. He observed 4 arm stumps and another arm buried in close proximity. Webb proceeded to photograph the remains and collected flesh samples to be forwarded to specialists who specialize in comparative zoology and the study of invertebrates. Dr. Webb wrote to Professor A. E. Verrill of Yale University, who was regarded as the leading authority on cephalopods, such as octopus, squid, and their cousins. In addition to the letter, Dr. Webb also included a sample of the corpse in order to obtain an explanation regarding the identity of the unexplained mass. At first, there were theories that the creature might be a previously unknown type of enormous octopus, which Professor Verrill tentatively named Octopus giganteus. There was speculation that it could potentially be a previously unidentified type of colossal squid. If the bulk were the remnants of a colossal cephalopod, it would have been the most immense one documented in scientific literature. Verrill proposed that the creature's dimensions in life would have measured 7 feet in diameter, and its weight may have reached up to 5 tons. By extrapolating from the dimensions of known species, he deduced that the creature's appendages could have been anywhere from 75 to 100 feet in length and up to 18 inches in diameter. After receiving and analyzing the sample of the mass that was cut by Dr. DeWitt Webb, Professor Verrill promptly withdrew his previous evaluation and became certain that the mass was the remnants of a deceased whale that had washed up on the coast. He hypothesized that it was probably the carcass of a whale, severely disfigured by scavenging and rotting. Despite Professor Verrill's ultimate determination that the mass of tissue belonged to a whale, the true identity of the St. Augustine monster has continued to be a subject of contention over the years. Until the 1970s, numerous scientists held the belief that the remains belonged to a colossal creature like a kraken. The dispute was finally intended to be resolved by the emergence of new technology in the 1990s. By employing electron microscopy and biochemical examination, a group of experts discovered that the meat does not exhibit the same characteristics as other cephalopods, including octopuses. After obtaining the sample, their conclusions finally aligned with those of Verrill, indicating that it was the remains of a whale that had deteriorated over a lengthy period of time. A DNA examination conducted in 2004 reconfirmed the identity of the remains as belonging to a whale. Despite the conclusive findings and abundant evidence in support of them, there are still some who maintain that the remnants belong to an undiscovered and unknown giant octopus. Indeed, our oceans are relatively less familiar to us compared to outer space, and octopuses are very intelligent beings. The Azores Underwater Pyramid. The Azores Underwater Pyramid discovery will be the first one we examine. Pyramids are found almost everywhere across the world, and although those above ground already have an uncanny resemblance and mystique, those below ground provoke even more contemplation. The finding was made directly off the coast of Terceira and São Miguel in the Azores. The man who is supposed to have found this building, Diocleciano Silva, was utilizing the ship's bathymetric equipment while out fishing. The finding was made directly off the coast of Terceira and São Miguel in the Azores. The man who is supposed to have found this building, Diocleciano Silva, was utilizing the ship's bathymetric equipment while out fishing. Looking above, he observed what looked like an exact geometric structure, leaving him wondering what he was hovering above. He saw that the building was precisely shaped like a pyramid. The fact that it creates a perfect pyramid makes it wonderful. Furthermore, Silva told the Portuguese news website Terra that the pyramid's orientation and deployment are such that its vertices are oriented north and south, precisely north and south, like the Giza pyramids in Egypt. It is very clear that the pyramid is not a natural structure. The pyramid itself has not received much attention, but its age is estimated to be between 12,000 and 20,000 years old, going back to the last ice age. It's interesting to note that the Portuguese Navy rejected the pyramid as a seamount based on historical sonar data from the region. To find out the real cause of this incident, no investigative team has visited the location. According to Admiral Fernando Pires, head of the maritime zone of Azores and one of the Navy's admirals, not enough is known about the pyramid to determine its true identity. He claims that the probes would have been useless at the time and posed a risk to navigation. According to Pires, the Navy is not ruling out the possibility that a volcanic explosion generated the entire complex, turning it into a typical underwater land formation. Nevertheless, no such study has been carried out, and additional investigations have been discontinued. There are no adjacent or even locally existing cultures that have a history of building pyramids. When archaeologists did manage to excavate the area, they discovered megalithic buildings, Carthaginian sanctuaries, cave art, and an inscription from the Roman era. Researchers would be well advised to accept the Navy's explanation that this is only an underwater volcanic structure, given the way the Navy has skirted the subject overall and due to political decisions. The mystery of the sunken city of Cuba. A group of explorers started a survey and exploration expedition along Cuba's western coast a little more than 10 years ago. While on their journey, they came across a bewildering collection of rock formations almost 650 meters below the surface of the ocean, thanks to their sophisticated sonar technology. These formations, with their symmetrical stone arrangement evoking an ordered metropolitan growth, were prominent among the otherwise desolate ocean floor. The media was immediately drawn to the find, leading to headlines such as "Lost City of the Caribbean Found" and "Atlantis Discovered in Cuba." The government, National Geography, and the National Museum all promised to look into these fascinating sonar photographs in great detail as a result of the finding's significance. The public's focus ultimately went away from the finding, though, and the story eventually lost its prominence despite the initial fervor around it. A decade later, the astounding discovery is still mainly unexplored and has not been the subject of much follow-up research. There is still much to learn about the destiny of these mysterious undersea constructions and their possible historical importance. In 2001, Pauline Zalitsky and her husband, Paul Weinsweig, who owned the Canadian company Advanced Digital Communications and were both well-regarded marine engineers, made an interesting discovery. The pair was working for the Cuban government in the Pinar del Rio province of Cuba, close to the Guanahacabibes Peninsula, actively participating in a survey trip. This specific project was the result of a partnership between Advanced Digital Communications and 3 other companies that were all run by the government of President Fidel Castro and had the goal of investigating the large number of Spanish colonial-era ships that were loaded with valuables in Cuban seas. Using state-of-the-art sonar equipment, the team carefully scanned a vast 2-square-kilometer area on the ocean floor throughout their voyage. As they were doing these scans, they noticed something amazing right away. What appeared to be a very complex collection of stone buildings with geometric and symmetrical designs that looked nothing less than an advanced urban civilization. The team was left in amazement by this fascinating finding, which stoked their intense desire to understand the mysteries contained within these mysterious structures. The group set out to investigate the depths of this sunken metropolis with unrelenting dedication and painstaking attention to detail, discovering a wealth of information and historical significance that would completely change our perception of the area. Zalitsky came upon an amazing discovery after closely scrutinizing the sonar images. He saw that there were amazing formations with smooth blocks, imposing crests, and complex geometric forms. There was interest and mystery to these structures. Some of the bricks were surprisingly shaped like pyramids, carefully and purposefully put together. They went back there in July of 21000, this time with senior researcher Manuel Iturralde, a geologist at the Natural History Museum of Cuba. This time, they had a remotely operated vehicle with them, so they could thoroughly examine and record the fascinating constructions. The video that was recorded revealed the existence of large pieces of stone that looked like polished granite and measured about 8 feet by 10 feet. There were 2 different configurations of these blocks. Some were purposefully piled on top of each other, and some stood apart from the others. Zalitsky speculatively surmised that these photos might depict the ruins of a submerged metropolis. He did not, however, come to any firm conclusions, stressing the necessity for further data to back up such assertions. This painstaking investigation, made possible by cutting-edge technology, gave rise to a thorough knowledge of the undersea formations, as well as intriguing new information on the possible presence of a subterranean civilization. The estimated time it would have taken for the submerged structures in question to sink to the depth at which they were found was 50,000 years. Iturralde, a field expert, has suggested that these findings rule out the possibility that any known culture at the time was capable of creating such intricate buildings. According to an expert in underwater archaeology at Florida State University, this theory is reinforced by the fact that it would be highly unusual if these buildings were constructed in that specific era, because they are more advanced than anything that is usually found in the New World. Consequently, it may be said that these constructions appear to be unusual in terms of their location and chronological order. Following the remarkable discovery, There was a media frenzy that led to several news sites drawing parallels between the find and the lost metropolis of Atlantis. But the men leading the investigation, Zalitsky and Weinsweig, were reluctant to approve of these parallels. Zalitsky flatly rejected the theory, claiming that the discovered ruins were probably more proof of a native culture that once flourished on a 100-mile land bridge that connected Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Iturralde strengthened this viewpoint by emphasizing the existence of indigenous Maya and Yucateco stories about an island their ancestors had called home that had suddenly disappeared into the ocean. Even with these explanations, Iturralde did not rule out the idea that the fascinating rock formations might simply be the result of remarkable natural processes. Even though a lot of media sources have written about underwater cities, lost civilizations, the story of Atlantis, and underwater ruins, some people are still doubtful of this viewpoint. These skeptics doubt the veracity of such statements and are reluctant to accept the notion of submerged civilizations. There are questions regarding whether information concerning the discovery was purposefully withheld due to the narrative's rapid rejection. We don't know if the leads just died on their own accord or if someone deliberately tried to hide what we found. Sadly, the explanation for this is still a mystery, leaving us without the chance to fully understand it. Despite popular belief, the final frontier not only encompasses space, but also vast expanses of uncharted territory in our oceans. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reveals that our exploration efforts have barely scratched the surface, with less than 5% of the ocean explored to date. Remarkable discoveries made by underwater archaeologists annually contribute to our understanding of history, serving as a reminder that there is still a great deal awaiting discovery. The Oceanic diving team is well acquainted with enigmatic findings, and one of their extensively documented discoveries involves an intriguing object resting on the Baltic Sea floor. Referred to as the Baltic Sea anomaly, this underwater structure gained widespread attention due to its peculiar appearance. Notably resembling a disc-shaped aircraft, speculation within online communities arose, suggesting the possibility of an advanced aerial vehicle being unearthed by the diving team. With a diameter of 60 meters, the Baltic Sea anomaly resides in the depths of the northern Baltic Sea. This remarkable find was made by Peter Lindberg, Dennis Asberg, and their renowned Swedish diving team in June 2011. Interestingly, the group has recently returned to the site and said that they have an update, noting that more strange activity happened while they were directly above the object. The research team stumbled upon a fascinating discovery while on their expedition to locate an ancient shipwreck. While passing over the object, they detected an intriguing reading that piqued their curiosity. According to Oceanic, this enigmatic anomaly measures approximately 3 to 4 meters in thickness and has a diameter of around 60 meters. Notably, the object rests on a sturdy pillar-like structure, towering at about 8 meters in height, located between 85 and 90 meters below the surface. Despite the seemingly shallow depth, the visibility in the area is extremely poor, making it challenging for the team to observe their surroundings. Curiously, during their initial encounter, the team encountered equipment malfunctions, which inexplicably ceased upon passing the object. Initially attributing it to chance, the team retraced their steps, only to face the same issue with their equipment again. This has prompted the team to hypothesize that the object emits some form of electromagnetic field. They have conducted multiple tests, consistently experiencing equipment failure whenever they approach the anomaly. According to skilled diver Stefan Hogeborn, he experienced a peculiar phenomenon while diving. He mentioned that any electronic devices, including a satellite phone, ceased to function when they were near the object. However, once they distanced themselves approximately 200 meters from the object, the devices began working again. Surprisingly, the devices malfunctioned once more when they returned above the object. Those that looked into the object said that it was natural. However, the divers have contested this claim by pointing out that natural formations do not have the ability to deactivate electrical equipment or possess a disc-like shape. Dennis Asberg, alongside the diving team from Oceanic, has recently unveiled an unprecedented photograph of the anomaly. According to Dennis, this image has never been witnessed before. While he has chosen to withhold certain specifics, he has revealed his intention to delve further into the matter during a podcast hosted by himself and his son. The podcast, named Dennis World, will provide an opportunity for a more detailed discussion on the subject matter. He said that he's released a never-before-seen image of the Baltic Sea anomaly. The picture was taken in 2012, and Dennis said that if you look at the picture, you can see a triangle with a hole. It's hard to see, and therefore Dennis uploaded a picture with a red line, and you can see that the plate is covered with sediment as well, and below you see burnt organic material. The picture was taken on the side of the object. According to individuals who have observed the image, the longer you gaze at it, the more distinct features become apparent. They have noticed the presence of defined edges and openings that directly penetrate the structure, which was initially described during the team's initial exploration. One user remarked that it resembles debris from the ocean, with coral growth accumulated on its surface. This perpendicular perspective grants us a more comprehensive view of the object, allowing us to discern a solid entity hidden beneath the coral. Upon the initial identification of the item, the team had inquiries, prompting them to investigate it further. However, their investigation only raised additional queries. As the divers approached the abnormality, they noticed a seemingly dark staircase that extended into the object. Notably, samples were sent for analysis in an attempt to determine its composition. According to Steve Weiner's assessments, the object was determined to not be a natural geological formation, but rather constructed from metals not found in nature. The team from Oceanic mentioned that when they were exploring the depths of the ocean, they observed a colossal structure that appeared even larger due to the darkness. They compared its size to that of a passenger plane and noted the challenges they faced while navigating in such conditions. Interestingly, they noticed a trail behind the object, which was also confirmed by sonar images. This has led to speculations that the object might have crashed and skidded along the ocean floor. The divers discovered visible skid marks in that area. Additionally, the researchers noticed peculiar carvings on the surface of the object, which appeared unnatural. The wreckage is located approximately 90 meters deep, and the muddy waters make it extremely difficult to capture footage or photographs of the site. The team revisited the location once more, deploying a remotely operated vehicle during their investigation. However, when the remotely operated vehicle approached the anomaly at a distance of a few meters, the compass started malfunctioning unpredictably. What's noteworthy is that a similar occurrence took place during their initial encounter with the anomaly. Peter Lindbergh commented that due to extremely poor visibility and the uncontrollable compass, it was challenging to track the remotely operated vehicle's location accurately. The compass seemed to be functioning independently, and the tether frequently got entangled. Many knowledgeable individuals have shared accounts of an anomaly referred to as the equipment turning off phenomenon. According to these reports, when pilots and fishing vessels come across unidentified aircraft, they often experience a sudden and complete loss of power or energy in their electrical devices. Numerous incidents have been documented where unidentified objects have been associated with the sudden shutdown of various types of equipment, including planes, tractors, cars, buses, motorcycles, and even lawnmowers. Interestingly, the affected devices typically resume functioning once the unidentified craft departs. One testimonial originates from a fishing crew aboard a vessel. They recounted an incident where they observed an unidentified object in the sky, causing a complete shutdown of all their electronic devices, including the ship's radio transmission to shore. Approximately 15 minutes later, when the object had moved away, everything returned to normal, although the fishermen noted that their mobile phones were also drained of power. Surprisingly, similar accounts have been shared by fishermen worldwide, reporting encounters with peculiar objects near their fishing vessels at night, consistently resulting in disturbances to their equipment. Currently, limited research has been conducted on this phenomenon, with only eyewitnesses recounting these experiences. However, some pilots have come forward, attesting to the influence of these objects on their aircraft as well. A fisherman shared the following account of an unusual encounter they had while fishing near Jersey. It was late at night, around 10:30, when the fisherman and his son noticed a distant light. As they approached for a better look, they couldn't discern any details because the object was too far away. However, moments later, The light seemed to descend and land in the ocean, resembling a lantern. Approximately 5 minutes later, the sun spotted the light again, but this time it was much closer and moving beneath the water's surface. They observed as it passed under their boat, causing their VHF radio to flicker through different channels. Notably, the boat's lights turned off and the engine stalled. In darkness, they watched as the eerie light traversed the length of the boat. Suddenly, the object ascended from the ocean, swiftly disappearing over the horizon within seconds. Miraculously, once it departed, all on-board equipment powered back on. Despite the vivid encounter, they are unable to determine the nature of what they witnessed. Reluctant to share the story due to potential skepticism, they initially mistook the light for a lantern due to its faint glow. However, upon closer proximity, the vibrant colors of the object made it difficult to focus on. Unfortunately, both their phones were drained of battery that night, preventing them from capturing any photographs. Regardless, they have not encountered the object again since that incident. Many who followed this story believe that the Baltic Sea anomaly couldn't be an unidentified submerged object. USOs, or unidentified submerged objects, are a fascinating and mysterious phenomenon that has captivated the imagination of researchers and enthusiasts alike. While unidentified flying objects are commonly associated with sightings in the sky, USOs refer to unidentified objects that are observed beneath the surface of bodies of water, such as oceans, lakes, and rivers. USOs have been reported throughout history, with accounts dating back centuries. Tales of strange objects emerging from the depths have been passed down through generations, sparking curiosity and intrigue. However, it was not until the modern era that USOs began to receive more attention and scrutiny. Numerous reports of USO sightings have surfaced from different parts of the world, including the Bermuda Triangle, the Pacific Ocean, and the Great Lakes. Witnesses often describe the objects as glowing or emitting lights, moving in a controlled manner underwater and displaying remarkable speed and agility. The explanations for USOs vary, with some suggesting natural phenomena as the cause, while others entertain the possibility of extraterrestrial or advanced human-made technology. One natural explanation is the presence of bioluminescent organisms, which can create light patterns and unusual glows underwater. However, this explanation does not account for the structured movements and high speeds reported by witnesses. Another hypothesis suggests that USOs could be advanced military or experimental submarines or underwater vehicles. It is well known that various governments around the world have been conducting research and development in underwater technologies, and some speculate that certain USO sightings may be related to secret military operations. However, the absence of official acknowledgement or confirmation of such advanced technology adds to the mystery surrounding USOs. The study of USOs is complex due to the challenges associated with exploring and investigating the depths of our oceans. The vastness and extreme conditions of underwater environments make it difficult to conduct thorough research and gather concrete evidence. Additionally, the lack of mainstream scientific attention and funding dedicated to USO research further hampers our understanding of these phenomena. As of right now, USOs continue to be a subject of great interest and speculation. Reported sightings and encounters suggest the existence of underwater objects that defy conventional explanations. While natural phenomena and terrestrial technology may account for some cases, the possibility of extraterrestrial involvement cannot be ruled out entirely. Further scientific research and exploration of our planet's oceans are crucial to unraveling the mysteries surrounding USOs and shedding light on this intriguing phenomenon. It's true that we know more about the surface of the Moon than what is happening within our very own oceans. Seen as one of the most unexplored areas of the planet, our oceans are teeming with incredible mysteries and strange occurrences that have left experts all around the world baffled and amazed since their discoveries. In fact, few of these discoveries are as mysterious in their nature as the humanoid sea people witnessed by numerous historical figures in the past. Referred to as mermaids, these elusive half-human, half-fish hybrids are at the center of strange sightings from all around the world when discussing unexplainable ocean mysteries. One interesting story was shared by someone on Reddit. However, the story has since been deleted by the original poster. One person, though, who knew the original poster told me about the story. They said the story goes that a woman was talking to her father about the mysteries of the oceans, and they got onto the topic of mysterious creatures. Her father worked for the United States Navy and started to open up about some of the mysterious things they had witnessed. The father went into detail about how the ocean was very eerie, and that while out in the middle of it he would see and hear strange things. One of the things he said was that he would often hear whistles and voices, something that to this day he can't explain. The daughter then said that her father travelled to the Philippines, and it was here that he was told about some of the local legends. It said that he got talking with one local woman, and she went on to tell him the story of the time she encountered a mysterious aquatic humanoid. She described the creature as being 7 feet in length, possessing 2 large black eyes, large webbed hands that had claws, a humanoid-like body, and a face that she described as looking like a demon. The encounter happened while she was on a boat. As she was coming home, she heard a loud knock and knew that she had hit something. She said that sometimes this happens, and in most cases it's either litter that's made its way into the ocean or trees and other debris. However, as she leant over, she saw 2 large black eyes staring back at her. She said she let out a loud scream and quickly left, not wanting to stay in the area with the unknown creature. The father was fascinated with the story and couldn't understand what this woman witnessed. He then decided to do a little digging and see if anyone could shed some light on the mysterious humanoid. When he then asked around about these creatures, he didn't get the response he expected. Instead of being laughed at or mocked, he was actually firmly shut down, being told not to ask those sort of questions. This only caused him to become more interested in the topic and go on to do his own investigations. Although he never pursued it while at work, he said that he spent countless hours doing research on the topic, and that these stories of aquatic humanoids may be real. When the daughter asked whether he thinks the Navy are aware of these animals, he paused and said that he thinks they might be, going on to say that there's many divisions within the Navy, and they investigate things such as unidentified objects, and also strange things seen in and around the ocean. It's reported that he got talking with another man who had been in the Navy for over 20 years, and he said that while on a submarine, they detected a mysterious object moving at hundreds of knots. The odd thing about this was that it kept flicking in and out of the radar, which he said made it difficult to know what it was. Again, this former worker shared stories about strange creatures that had been found by the United States Navy, but said that he never conducted any of his own research on the matter, saying that although he was interested, it was likely that he wouldn't get very far. One interesting report comes from Zimbabwe. Unlike the cute animated portrayals of the mythical creature, the mermaids of Zimbabwe have been a recurring problem for those living nearby large waterways in the country, as the humanoid creatures have reportedly been at the center of a variety of random attacks, vandalism, and delays in construction efforts. Back in 2012, while working on the Gokwe and Osborne dams, the Zimbabwe construction company claimed that nearly every employee had left the construction site in fear for their lives after having been attacked by a strange humanoid river monster known as the Mamba Muntu. It was believed that the Mamba Muntu used the rivers as natural outlets to the ocean, and that they had become terribly angered by the construction efforts. Debates were made on whether or not construction should continue before a full report on the environmental impact was made. However, under pressure of contracts and health standards, construction continued regardless. This forced the local council to hire entirely new workers from out of the country to work on the dam, as the locals refused to continue working on the construction of the project due to their superstitions. Oddly enough, after several weeks, even the foreign workers resigned after claiming to have been attacked by humanoid sea creatures and regarded the entire river as being cursed. In an effort to appease these strange creatures, the council was forced to perform cleansing rituals and make offerings to the creatures before construction began again with no further issues. Although most do not make the connection, Zambia, the closest country to Zimbabwe, built the Kariba Dam in the same waterways within their borders. The project was determined to be a necessity in the region, as the water from the river would not only be able to power all of the electrical requirements for that region, but it would also prove to be a major work program that would allow a number of locals to generate income. Unfortunately, many of the religious figures, already suffering under the oppressive hand of the government, felt that the construction of the dam was a violation of the principles of their god, known as Nyami. Nyami was, more specifically, the god of the river Zambezi, and was believed to reside within the river. The religious figures argued that if the dam was built, then Nyami would curse them for messing with the natural ecosystem and bring on a terrible tragedy, urging the locals to defy the government and refuse construction. Despite this sentiment from the religious leaders, many of the locals would still go to work on the construction of the dam, assisting in the government's tactic to force the native Batonga people to move from their homes and live elsewhere. Almost as if directly predicted by the religious leaders, shortly after the Batonga people were moved, a devastating flood tore through the region, and due to the half-construction of the dam blocking the only direction for water to flow, it led to the entire dam becoming destroyed, taking out every single worker that was working on the construction of the project. Oddly enough, not a single worker had been recovered. Given the fact that the majority of those who passed away were locals, this led to many of the relatives begging the religious leaders to help lift the curse and allow the dam to be constructed without any future problems. The religious leaders then gave instructions to the people that the only way for the curse to be lifted was if they offered a calf to the river. For some inexplicable reason, after the ceremony was completed, the workers appeared where the calf was placed in the river, allowing the souls to finally be put to rest. The story of Captain John Smith. According to old myths and rumours published back in 1849, during the year 1611, as Captain John Smith and his crew were travelling around the West Indies, they spotted a strange creature in the waters beside them. The crew described the creature as resembling that of a woman for the upper part of her body, except with a few key changes in her face, such as that of her eyes, of which were described as larger and more round, a short nose, long ears, and bright green hair. The lower part of the creature's body was described as being similar to that of a dolphin's body, and not that of a fish or scales of any kind as other tales of mermaids claim. Interestingly enough, when researchers looked for the source of the tale concerning Captain John Smith and his crew's encounter with the mermaid, they found that the original author for the piece, that was published in 1849, was the author of The Three Musketeers. This has led many skeptics to believe that the stories could have been fabricated. However, at the time, the author was more than well versed in writing articles pertaining to non-fiction and had even co-authored other pieces that involved true stories of encounters with mermaids. This helps to not only prove the author's fascination with the subject, but that the rigorous fact-checking involved with publications at the time more than helped to steer the author clear from fictitious accounts in his works. Still, to this day, many claim that the account is nothing more than a forgery, despite evidence of Captain John Smith and his crew encountering other strange creatures in the sea and often writing about them. The Adaro humanoid. One of the darker tales involving the mythical sea creature known as the mermaid is that of the Adaro. According to old mythologies and accounts, the Adaro are described to be more similar in behavior to that of evil spirits roaming the Pacific Ocean and living at deep depths in the darkest regions of the ocean, though they do share many physical characteristics with that of the mermaid legends. The Adaro are described as looking similar to that of a person, but with large gills behind its ears, a long tail fin instead of feet, a shark-like dorsal fin that can grow into the shape of a large horn, along with a massive shark spear growing out of the top of its head, similar to that of a swordfish or a sawfish. The origin of the creature appears to be far more paranormal in nature rather than that of other means. According to legends surrounding the sea creature, an Adaro is born when a man of evil falls into the ocean and passes away shortly after. This evil then lingers and grows in the ocean, forming the body of the Adaro, of which will continue to grow in numbers. Said to reside close to the Solomon Islands, it appears that these creatures are far more sinister than the traditional mermaid legends and definitely an encounter to be avoided. The ocean covers about 71% of the Earth's surface, but only a small portion of it has been explored in detail. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, we have explored less than 5% of the ocean, with the deepest parts of the ocean remaining largely unknown to us. The lack of exploration is partly due to the sheer size and depth of the ocean, as well as the technological and logistical challenges of conducting research in such an extreme environment. However, advances in technology, such as deep-sea submersibles and remote-operated vehicles, are helping scientists to explore more of the ocean and discover new species and ecosystems. Overall, there is still much to be learned and discovered about the ocean, and ongoing exploration and research will continue to uncover new insights and mysteries. Scientists are currently investigating the reasons behind the sudden formation of large and tightly packed gatherings of humpback whales, known as supergroups. This phenomenon has piqued their interest, and they are aiming to uncover the underlying factors that contribute to this behavior. A fascinating occurrence has been observed near the shores of South Africa by both researchers and the public. The location where they gather is distant from the typical summer region of humpback whales in the Antarctic. These groups grow in size from 20 to 200 individuals, and their main objective is to find food. According to lead researcher Ken Findley, being in a small boat surrounded by 200 humpback whales is an immensely remarkable encounter. The whales appear unexpectedly from all directions, creating a truly extraordinary experience. According to South Africa's Department of Environmental Affairs, the scientists believe that the phenomenon of large groups of animals feeding together, which they refer to as supergroups, is a relatively new behavior. During the research expeditions in 2011, 2014, and 2015, the whales were seen lunging, diving, and emitting a distinct smell known as whale blows, which has a strong, fishy scent. These observations took place in South Africa during the spring-summer months of October and November. Researchers noticed that the supergroups showed a certain level of flexibility, with whales occasionally joining and then departing from these groups. It was observed that certain whales would travel long distances in order to become part of these massive gatherings. Humpback whales are not typically recognized for their sociability. They are commonly observed in solitary or paired configurations, or in small clusters that do not maintain long-lasting associations. Researchers stated that the causes behind this new and unusual behavior pattern are still uncertain. However, it is possible that the phenomenon is linked to the growing population of humpback whales in the area or the abundance of their prey. However, scientists were unable to determine the specific prey that led to this large gathering. Findley stated that while the occurrence itself is not mysterious, what remains enigmatic is the process and reasoning behind it. There is a need for further examination to unravel these inquiries. The speaker mentioned that he, along with his colleagues, intends to release a collection of articles discussing the occurrence. He further added that despite his extensive involvement in humpback research for over 3 decades, they have never encountered such a phenomenon previously. The observation of numerous supergroups holds a significant implication for the well-being and status of these magnificent creatures. According to Findley, the results we obtained demonstrate the remarkable resilience of these animals in recovering from the significant impact of whaling in the previous century. In the southern hemisphere alone, more than 200,000 humpback whales were hunted during that time. Scientists have said that it's truly astonishing to witness the remarkable recovery of these populations after 30 to 40 years. This restoration inspires a sense of optimism and sheds light on the current condition of the ocean. The US Navy recently conducted a significant study revealing that it unintentionally caused the passing of at least 6 whales due to the use of sonar technology on its ships. The Navy, in collaboration with the US National Marine Fisheries Service, made this finding public towards the end of the previous month. However, this discovery may pose challenges for the Navy's future implementation of an advanced sonar system intended to detect submarines from afar. For many years, experts in the field of marine mammal research have had the belief that the sonar signals emitted by military vessels might have contributed to several atypical instances of beaked whale strandings. Beaked whales, known for their teeth and preference for deep-sea feeding, have been found stranded shortly following military sonar drills on numerous occasions. Unfortunately, due to the advanced decay of the carcasses, no tangible proof of injuries caused by sound energy has been uncovered. On March 15th, back in the year 2000, Ken Balcom and Diane Claridge, independent researchers specializing in marine mammals, were surprised to discover a stranded beaked whale near their residence on Abaco Island in the Bahamas. Subsequently, they observed an additional 17 stranded marine mammals in the vicinity, some of which exhibited signs of bleeding from their ears. In order to shed light on the situation, the researchers collected tissue samples, including whole heads, from a total of 6 deceased animals. Prompted by the revelation that these strandings coincided with a Navy training mission, that took place within a 24-hour timeframe, government scientists initiated an investigation. In a preliminary report released on December 20, 2001, scientists from the Navy and National Marine Fisheries Service have determined that the beachings of whales were the result of a unique combination of factors, including underwater topography and water conditions, that may have concentrated and intensified sonar signals. Although the exact mechanism by which the sound energy caused injuries to the whale's ears and tissues remains unknown, it is believed that the acoustic disturbance left some whales disoriented and vulnerable to shark attacks, prompting them to swim ashore. Moving forward, the Navy expresses its commitment to minimizing the use of sonar in similar circumstances during training exercises and expresses a willingness to allocate additional funds for further research. The findings of the study do not come as a surprise to Naomi Rose, a knowledgeable marine mammal specialist affiliated with the Humane Society of the United States in Gaithersburg, Maryland. According to her, the Navy had no way of avoiding taking responsibility. However, she believes that the report is skillfully crafted in a way that prevents it from providing ammunition to critics of the Navy's new sonar system, operating at a lower frequency, which they are planning to deploy. Whales, known for their magnificent size and intriguing vocalizations, hold a crucial position in the world's ecosystem. Acting as both consumers and nutrient providers, their extinction would trigger a cascade of consequences, affecting both the ecological balance and the human economy. Firstly, whales play a critical role in the marine food web. As predators, they keep populations of smaller fish and invertebrates in check. By feeding on krill, they prevent these tiny crustaceans from consuming all the phytoplankton, the base of the marine food chain. Should whales go extinct, the uncontrolled growth of krill could lead to a decrease in phytoplankton, potentially causing a ripple effect throughout the marine ecosystem. Whales also act as significant contributors to nutrient cycling. They consume nutrients in the ocean depths and release them nearer to the surface in their fecal plumes, aiding the growth of phytoplankton. Phytoplankton not only serves as the primary food source for a multitude of marine species, but it also absorbs large amounts of carbon dioxide, playing a key role in mitigating climate change. With the extinction of whales, this natural mechanism would be disrupted, leading to a potential decrease in phytoplankton and an increase in atmospheric CO2 levels. Furthermore, whales contribute to marine productivity through their carcasses. When they die, their bodies sink to the ocean floor, providing an abundance of nutrients and thus creating complex ecosystems known as whale falls. These provide habitats and sustenance for a variety of species, some of which are uniquely adapted to this environment. The loss of these whale falls could mean the extinction of these species and a decrease in ocean biodiversity. In the vast expanse of the ocean, a hidden world lay beneath the depths, a realm largely unexplored and shrouded in mystery. It was here, in the remote waters of the Pacific, that a remarkable discovery was made, thanks to the keen eyes of a curious observer using Google Earth. An amateur explorer with an insatiable curiosity for the unknown found himself engrossed in the satellite imagery of Google Earth. He spent countless hours navigating the virtual globe, seeking hidden treasures and anomalies that would ignite his sense of wonder. As he pored over the imagery of the Pacific Ocean, his gaze fixated on a remote section, far from any human settlement. An enormous object caught his attention. He described it as a massive structure nestled on the ocean floor, its size and shape defying explanation. Intrigued, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had stumbled upon something truly significant. He decided to share it on social media so others could look at it. Driven by his curiosity, he wanted to know what this strange object was and how it was able to change direction on the ocean floor. According to him, the object that can be seen at the end of the trail looks to be in the shape of a pyramid. He said that the mysterious structure doesn't match anything else in the area and wanted to post it online so that others could put forward their own theories for what they thought it could be. The user who found it said that the possibilities seemed endless, suggesting that it could have been an ancient temple, an underwater city, or evidence of an advanced civilization predating recorded history. As of right now, he's said that it's important to note that pyramids have been uncovered all over the world, and caused him to suggest that there could be pyramids submerged at the bottom of the ocean. The scale of discoveries made in recent years by scientists has completely transformed the way we view our oceans, so we should remain receptive to the potential of marine exploration. In the watery depths, entire civilizations have been lost over time, leaving behind awe-inspiring constructions on par with cutting-edge modern engineering. Denying the accomplishments of past generations is unfair, and until we have explored all the uncharted ocean territories, it is quite feasible that large structures could be lurking beneath the waves. As noted, it is intriguing to see what appears to be a large object at the end of what appears to be an artificial track. It is noteworthy that those who have viewed the images have observed that the areas surrounding the structure appear to be blurred, indicating that an organization may have intentionally done this to obscure details about it. It is widely known that certain organizations alter photographs prior to their public release. It has been acknowledged that specific regions on Google Earth have been obscured due to security concerns. Certain locations may not be visible to the public eye, as they are restricted areas that authorities have deemed off-limits. Consequently, these areas are obscured with intentional blurring or black boxes to prevent any further disclosure of details. This may refer to sites that are restricted from public access, such as government establishments. The query that arises is what the intention is behind obscuring something in the ocean, and why numerous uncanny objects feature blurred markings. As of right now, various theories have been put forward to explain what these objects are, including artificial structures, monuments that have been lost to the waves, and giant pyramids. There's countless interesting ocean discoveries that are being made each year, and one of these are underwater supervolcanoes. An underwater supervolcano is an awe-inspiring force of nature, capable of unleashing immense power and causing widespread devastation. While the eruption of a supervolcano on land is well documented and understood, the eruption of such a volcano beneath the ocean's surface presents its own unique set of challenges and potential consequences. Imagining the scenario of an underwater supervolcano eruption allows us to explore the potential impacts on the marine environment and human populations. Firstly, an underwater supervolcano eruption would release an enormous amount of magma, gases, and volcanic ash into the surrounding water column. The sudden discharge of molten rock and gases would generate intense heat, leading to the formation of superheated plumes and steam explosions. These powerful eruptions would create a turbulent and hazardous environment for marine life. The immediate impact on marine ecosystems would be devastating. The release of volcanic ash and gases, such as sulfur dioxide, would lead to acidification of the surrounding waters. This change in pH levels would have profound effects on the delicate balance of marine organisms, particularly those with calcareous shells or skeletons, such as corals and shellfish. The acidification would disrupt their ability to build and maintain their protective structures, leading to widespread mortality and ecological imbalance. Furthermore, the rapid injection of volcanic material into the ocean would cause a sudden increase in water temperature. This rise in temperature would create thermal stress, potentially causing mass bleaching of coral reefs and the death of other sensitive marine organisms. The subsequent decline in biodiversity could have cascading effects throughout the food chain, impacting the abundance and distribution of marine species. The eruption of an underwater supervolcano would also release large quantities of volcanic ash into the atmosphere. Unlike ash from land-based eruptions, which can settle relatively close to the source, ash from underwater eruptions would disperse over vast distances, carried by ocean currents and atmospheric winds. This ash can pose a significant threat to human health, as fine particulate matter can cause respiratory problems, visibility issues, and potential air traffic disruptions. In addition to the immediate effects on marine ecosystems and human health, an underwater supervolcano eruption would have broader environmental consequences. The release of gases, including sulfur dioxide, into the atmosphere would lead to the formation of aerosols and sulfuric acid clouds. These clouds would reflect sunlight back into space, resulting in a temporary cooling effect on the Earth's surface. This phenomenon, known as volcanic winter, can lead to a decrease in global temperatures and altered weather patterns. The long-term effects of an underwater supervolcano eruption on climate would depend on the scale and duration of the eruption. Large-scale eruptions have the potential to inject significant amounts of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, which can persist for months or even years. The resulting cooling effect could disrupt agricultural practices, leading to crop failures and food shortages. Changes in precipitation patterns could also impact water resources and alter the distribution of ecosystems worldwide. Societal impacts would be significant in the aftermath of an underwater supervolcano eruption. Coastal communities located near the eruption site would face immediate dangers, including tsunamis generated by the displacement of water and potential pyroclastic flows. The destruction of marine habitats and fisheries could have severe economic consequences for communities dependent on ocean resources. International cooperation and preparedness would be essential to mitigate the impacts of an underwater supervolcano eruption. Monitoring systems capable of detecting precursory signs of volcanic activity would be critical for issuing timely warnings and evacuating vulnerable populations. Collaborative efforts in disaster response, scientific research, and the development of resilient strategies would be crucial to address the complex challenges posed by such an event. The ocean, covering approximately 71% of the Earth's surface, is a vast and mysterious realm that holds countless wonders waiting to be discovered. Despite centuries of exploration and scientific advancements, much of the ocean remains unexplored, hiding secrets and surprises in its depths. Understanding the extent of unexplored areas is a complex task, but current knowledge and ongoing research suggest that a significant portion of the ocean remains unknown to us. One of the key factors contributing to the ocean's unexplored nature is its immense size. The ocean encompasses 5 major basins: the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Southern, and Arctic Oceans. Each of these basins is vast, with depths ranging from a few meters in coastal areas to several kilometers in the open ocean. The combined area of these basins, including their numerous underwater mountain ranges, trenches, and abyssal plains, presents an enormous challenge for comprehensive exploration. Furthermore, the ocean's extreme depths pose significant technological and logistical hurdles. The pressure and darkness in the deep sea demand specialized equipment and vehicles capable of withstanding tremendous pressures and providing adequate lighting for observation. Deep-sea exploration requires submersibles, remotely operated vehicles, and autonomous underwater vehicles to access and study the abyssal depths, where conditions are harsh and environments are largely unexplored. To date, the majority of human exploration has focused on the relatively shallow coastal areas and continental shelves. These regions are more accessible and provide valuable resources for human populations, such as fisheries and mineral deposits. However, as the depth increases beyond the continental shelves into the abyssal plains and trenches, the challenges multiply, and our knowledge becomes progressively limited. The Mariana Trench, located in the western Pacific Ocean, is a prime example of an unexplored region. It is the deepest part of the world's oceans, reaching depths of over 10,900 meters, or 35,800 feet. In addition to depth, the ocean's vastness and remoteness further contribute to its unexplored nature. Large areas, such as the Southern Ocean surrounding Antarctica, remain largely inaccessible due to extreme weather conditions, sea ice, and isolation. These regions present formidable challenges to researchers and limit opportunities for extensive exploration. Advancements in technology have allowed scientists to explore the ocean more extensively in recent years. Sophisticated sonar systems, satellite imaging, and improved underwater robotics have enhanced our ability to map the seafloor and gather data remotely. However, these technologies are limited in their capacity to provide detailed information about specific habitats, ecosystems, and the myriad species that inhabit them. This mysterious photograph was just shared by Apes on Reddit. It was taken at the London Thames by the Naval College at 6 p.m. on the 27th of July. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that something strange has been spotted moving around in the Thames. The River Thames, a historic waterway flowing through the heart of London, has been a subject of fascination and intrigue for centuries. Among the countless stories and tales associated with it, one of the most enduring is that of the River Thames monster, often referred to as the Thames serpent. The story of the River Thames monster dates back to the 19th century, with accounts of an unidentified creature residing in the murky waters of the Thames. These narratives often depict a serpentine creature, usually large in size, with a long, slender body akin to an elongated eel or snake. The first recorded sighting was in 1873, when a man named William Cottrey claimed to have seen an enormous creature near the Isle of Dogs. The description was vivid: a creature with a rounded head, large eyes, and an elongated body that rose 2 meters above the water. Over the years, several other sightings have contributed to the monster's legend. In 2016, a video surfaced online showing a large, dark object moving through the water near the O2 Arena. The video, which quickly garnered millions of views, sparked renewed interest and speculation about the creature's existence. Yet, what could explain these sightings? One theory proposes that the creature might be a large species of eel. The European conger eel, for instance, can grow up to 3 meters long and is native to the Thames. Misidentification, especially of unusually large specimens, could potentially explain some of these sightings. Other suggestions have included an out-of-place marine mammal, such as a seal or dolphin, which have been known to occasionally visit the Thames. Their movements and behavior, when observed partially submerged or from a distance, might be mistaken for something more exotic or monstrous. Yet another hypothesis suggests that the sightings might be of large, non-native species inadvertently introduced into the Thames. This could range from released pets, like large snakes or monitor lizards, to marine species transported via ship ballast water. However, skepticism abounds in scientific circles about the Thames monster's existence. The lack of clear, irrefutable evidence, such as high-quality photographs, physical traces, or captured specimens, makes it hard to confirm the creature's identity definitively. Furthermore, the River Thames is one of the most studied and monitored waterways in the world, making it unlikely that a large, undiscovered species could remain hidden. Moreover, it's crucial to consider the role of psychology and social factors in monster sightings. Often people see what they expect or want to see, a phenomenon known as pareidolia. In the case of the River Thames monster, it's possible that ambiguous sightings get interpreted as more monstrous due to the existing folklore. Lastly, let's not underestimate the influence of the media and societal fascination with the unknown. Cryptids, creatures whose existence is disputed or unsubstantiated, hold a particular allure in popular culture. This fascination often results in heightened interest, media coverage, and consequently, more reported sightings. As of right now, while the River Thames monster captures the imagination, the evidence supporting its existence is scant and largely anecdotal. Whether it's a misidentified known animal, an out-of-place creature, or merely a figment of collective imagination, the tale of the Thames monster continues to add a touch of mystery to London's iconic river. For centuries, sailors across various cultures have told riveting tales of sea serpents, monstrous creatures reputed to dwell in the deep, unexplored expanses of the world's oceans. These narratives have been an integral part of maritime folklore, often contributing to sailors' wariness of uncharted territories. The description of sea serpents varies across cultures and eras, but typically portrays them as enormous, snake-like beasts with terrifying features. Some accounts describe them as having horse-like heads, manes, and large, menacing eyes. Others report multiple humps, vast coiling bodies, or even the presence of wings. Such tales have pervaded seafaring cultures for millennia. Ancient Greeks told tales of the Hydra and the Scylla, multi-headed sea monsters that terrorized sailors. Similarly, Norse mythology presents the Jormungandr, or the Midgard serpent, an enormous sea creature that encircles the world. However, historical accounts aren't merely restricted to mythology. As early as the 4th century BC, the Greek explorer Pytheas described seeing a sea monster during his voyage near modern-day Norway. By the 19th century, sea serpent sightings had become a widespread phenomenon, particularly in North Atlantic waters. Numerous shiplogs, newspaper reports, and personal journals of this era document these encounters, often in considerable detail. The Gloucester sea serpent, sighted repeatedly off the coast of Massachusetts in the early 19th century, was one such example, sparking considerable debate and intrigue. However, in spite of these abundant accounts, no tangible evidence of sea serpents' existence has ever been found. This lack of scientific proof has led researchers to propose various explanations for these sightings. Some theorize that many sightings could be cases of mistaken identity. Known marine animals like giant oarfish, sharks, or even whales might have been perceived as sea serpents. Psychology also plays a substantial role in these encounters. Furthermore, the psychological stress of long sea voyages, coupled with fear of the unknown, might contribute to such misinterpretations. Finally, the cultural context cannot be ignored. In many societies, maritime folklore serves as a warning system, cautioning sailors against venturing into dangerous, unexplored waters. Sea serpents often symbolize these unknown risks, serving as metaphoric embodiments of the sea's dangers. During the 19th century, newspapers frequently sensationalized sea serpent stories to boost sales. Even today, the allure of sea monster stories continues to captivate public interest, often leading to exaggerated or fabricated reports. The 19th century was a period of global exploration and scientific discovery, but it was also a time where the line between myth and reality was frequently blurred. One of the most captivating instances of this era was the HMS Daedalus's sea serpent sighting in 1848. It is remembered not only for the widespread interest it triggered, but also for the rigorous debate it sparked in the scientific community. On August 6, 1848, HMS Daedalus, a British Royal Navy ship, was en route from the Cape of Good Hope to St. Helena in the South Atlantic, when Captain Peter McCue and his crew reported an encounter with a giant sea serpent. The creature, according to McCue, was approximately 60 feet in length, with a further 30 feet of its body seen coiling beneath the water's surface. He described the creature as having no fins, a dark brown color with a yellowish-white underbelly, and a snake-like head held 4 feet above the water. McCue's detailed report, published in the Times of London, garnered immediate attention. The story was soon picked up by other newspapers and periodicals, igniting a flurry of interest, debate, and speculation across the country. Some readers were intrigued, some were skeptical, and others dismissed it as pure fantasy. The scientific community was similarly divided. Some naturalists supported McCue's account, citing it as evidence of large, unknown marine creatures yet to be discovered. Others, however, were skeptical. Sir Richard Owen, a prominent British biologist and a leading critic, suggested that the creature was nothing more than an elephant seal, or possibly a piece of floating seaweed misinterpreted by the ship's crew. The controversy escalated when McCue published a rebuttal defending his account. He emphasized the excellent visibility on the day of the sighting and the proximity of the creature, which, according to him, was close enough to rule out misidentification. Moreover, he asserted that he and his men were experienced sailors, implying their credibility and capability in distinguishing unfamiliar creatures from known marine animals. The Eltanin antenna, an unusual underwater structure discovered in 1964, has long been the subject of speculation and debate among researchers, theorists, and those with a keen interest in the unknown. Named after the USNS Eltanin, the Antarctic oceanographic research ship that first photographed the structure, the Eltanin antenna is a mysterious object located deep beneath the Antarctic Ocean. The Eltanin antenna was first photographed on August 29, 1964, by a team of researchers aboard the USNS Eltanin, an American research vessel tasked with conducting oceanographic studies in the Antarctic region. The photograph, taken at a depth of approximately 13,500 feet or 4,115 meters in the Antarctic Ocean, depicted an unusual, seemingly artificial structure that resembled an antenna or a piece of advanced technology. The discovery immediately sparked curiosity and controversy, with many wondering about the origins and purpose of the enigmatic object. The Eltanin antenna is characterized by its complex, symmetrical structure, which appears to consist of a central rod surrounded by a series of curved, evenly spaced spokes. Its appearance has been likened to that of a radio antenna, a piece of advanced machinery, or even an advanced artifact. Despite its seemingly artificial appearance, the Eltanin antenna has been found to be made of natural materials, primarily a type of sponge known as Cladorhiza concrescens. Since its discovery, the Eltanin antenna has been the subject of numerous theories. Many researchers believe that the Eltanin antenna is simply a unique and unusual natural formation. The structure's composition, primarily made up of the Cladorhiza concrescens sponge, supports this theory. The symmetrical appearance of the structure, while intriguing, can be explained by the growth patterns of this particular sponge species. Theorists and proponents of alternative history have suggested that the Eltanin antenna is an artificial structure, possibly created by an advanced ancient civilization or even advanced beings. They argue that the object's intricate and symmetrical appearance is indicative of intelligent design rather than a natural process. However, this theory has been largely debunked by scientific research that has identified the structure as a type of sponge. Another theory posits that the Eltanin antenna is a hoax or the result of misinterpretation. This theory suggests that the original photograph taken by the USNS Eltanin may have been tampered with or misinterpreted by researchers and the media, leading to the widespread belief in the existence of an unexplained structure. The Eltanin antenna remains an enigmatic and intriguing discovery that has captivated the imagination of researchers and the public alike for over half a century. Although scientific research has identified the structure as a type of sponge, its striking appearance and the enduring controversy surrounding its origins continue to fuel speculation and debate. The Eltanin antenna serves as a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown and the unexplained, and as a reminder of the countless mysteries that still lie hidden beneath the depths of our oceans.
Scientists call for the ocean to be legally treated as a living being. Our ocean is an extraordinary place. It's the beginning of all life and from whence we all came. Therefore, humanity's overall treatment of it seems extremely cruel when we consider all the wrongs we have done towards it. For centuries, it has provided us with substance and resources. It's responsible for much of the oxygen that allows us to breathe in our atmosphere. Despite this, our oceans remain the lowest priority when it comes to battles against climate change and environmental concerns. Scientists are calling for better recognition of the ocean in hopes of salvaging it for the future. Many believe that without change, the oceans could be lost to us forever. Biologist Michelle Bender and Rachel Bustamante from the Earth Law Center, USA, have released their research and argument in PLOS Biology, a scientific paper. Bender and Bustamante have stated maintaining the status quo of environmental law equates to the legalized destruction of nature. International law needs to evolve to reflect the ocean's inherent rights to exist, flourish, and regenerate. Ocean health is human health. It's notable that they capitalized nature in their statement to reflect their belief that nature deserves to be acknowledged as its own being. They claim that nature deserves to be viewed as equal to humans and not as a resource for us to demolish and abuse. This argument that the ocean should be considered a being in its own right falls under the modern concept of Earth law, which dictates that humans should see the world itself as something sacred to be protected and respected. Biologists hope to raise awareness of this movement to have the Earth recognized as something to support under legal constitutions, such as the right to exist. Simply put, certain groups believe that the Earth deserves to share our universal human rights. Bustamante and Bender write, building upon Earth law and rights of nature understandings, ocean-centered governance recognizes the ocean as a living entity, advancing law, policy, and institutional action that centers the needs of the ocean in decision-making. The UN General Assembly publicly announced in late 2017 that the era between 2021 and 2030 would focus on repairing the harm done to the oceans, and that the UN would place further consideration into aquatic research and figure out ways to make our coexistence with the ocean and its creatures sustainable and less damaging to the environment. In 2015, scientists released the first universal ocean assessment, which opened the eyes of many communities as to how deeply the seas were suffering. The report revealed that climate change, overfishing, resource gathering, and most importantly, pollution have impacted the oceans more than previously anticipated. Since then, researchers have been working out ways to solve this ever-growing problem in hopes of rescuing oceanic life before it's too late. As things stand, the situation keeps getting worse. Little is being done to subvert the consequences of our actions, which are already occurring and destroying the ocean by filling it with trash, oil spills, and immense amounts of carbon dioxide. Ocean life projected to end in mass extinction. Scientists fear that an aquatic mass extinction is underway. According to recent studies, nearly 90% of selected aquatic species have been marked for high-priority endangerment or thought to be at severe risk of going extinct in the next century. Biologists warn that due to the overwhelming amount of carbon in the water, the environment of the sea is changing fast, for the worse. The Dalhousie University of Canada has assembled a team of respected scientists and researchers to investigate sea life. Their findings revealed that the 25,000 species they have observed, nearly all of them will fall to extinction if nothing is done to lessen the situation. If our greenhouse gas emissions stay at these high rates, many of these oceanic creatures, protozoans, bacteria, algae, fish, and sea mammals will vanish from the planet by the year 2100. Other research revealed that creatures higher on the food chain are more likely to perish than those lower on it. A wide range of oceanic ecosystems will be affected, including but not limited to the Coral Triangle, Australian coasts, the Red Sea, the Gulfs of Persia and Thailand, and the Caribbean. The study has been quite startling and sobering, in the words of ecologist Daniel Boyce of the Institute of Oceanography. Notably, Boyce notes that this is still speculation and nothing is set in stone, but that it could be a potential outcome of the consequences of global warming. According to Boyce, it's the worst-case scenario, and when we evaluated that scenario, we found that there was a very grim picture for the climate risk for marine species. If even a handful of these species were to fade out of existence as a result of extinction, it would reap horrific results on the world's many ecosystems and would impact the world food chain directly. 252 million years ago was the last time the planet suffered a major extinction event where 90% of life was demolished, deemed to be the Great Dying by researchers. We can only hope that adequate actions will be taken to prevent such a tragic future for our planet. Ancient traces of a giant ocean have just been discovered. Mars, as we know it, is a wasteland devoid of greenery and flowing liquid water. However, that does not mean it has always been that way. Scientists have suspected that Mars was once a watery oasis, and now, due to a recent discovery, they have more proof than ever. According to scientists, 3.5 billion years ago, the dust-covered barren surface of Mars possessed a beautiful ocean that spread for supposed hundreds of thousands of kilometers squared. Their proof? Shorelines. Recent research into Mars's geology provides evidence of past, long-gone shorelines in the way the planet is shaped. Using various images obtained by satellites sent to photograph Mars, researchers were able to zoom in and analyze its surface. Because scientists have pictures of the same location from different angles, they were able to put the pieces together into an elaborate local map, thus allowing them to study it up close. Over 4,000 miles of water-caused ridges have been located. Scientists believed these ridges are either underwater channels or possibly markings of river deltas. Benjamin Cardenas, a geoscientist from the University of Pennsylvania, states, "On Earth, we chart the history of waterways by looking at sediment that is deposited over time. We call that stratigraphy, the idea that water transports sediment and you can measure the changes on Earth by understanding the way that sediment piles up. That's what we've done here. But it's Mars." With research collected by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, scientists were even able to determine how thick these ridges are and utilize topographical techniques in hopes of uncovering more about our neighboring planet's history. The team found evidence of rising sea levels on Mars that caused increased currents in rivers, all of which were memorized in the sands and sediment of the planet. As we understand where there is water, there is life, this discovery suggests it was definitely possible for the red planet to sustain life at some point prior in cosmic history, although this is still unproven beyond mere speculation. Cardenas notes, "What immediately comes to mind as one of the most significant points here is that the existence of an ocean of this size means a higher potential for life. It also tells us about the ancient climate and its evolution. Based on these findings, we know there had to have been a period when it was warm enough and the atmosphere was thick enough to support this much liquid water at one time."
This short video was sent to us by a subscriber, and they claimed that it showed a mermaid that had washed up on a beach. The user said that the footage is currently being shared around social media, and that it shows a mysterious aquatic humanoid that was found by one of the locals on a small coastal beach. The story goes that one evening, a man heard loud noises coming from the ocean, and as they got closer, they noticed something strange. A creature was moving around on the shore, its tail glistening in the moonlight. Those who saw it said that it didn't match any known aquatic animal, and so they quickly took photographs as evidence. News of the creature's arrival spread like wildfire, drawing crowds that wanted to see the mermaid for themselves. Curiosity and awe filled the air as people gathered around the enigmatic creature, their eyes wide with wonder. Some whispered tales of mermaids from ancient folklore, while others marveled at the sheer beauty and elegance before them. The mermaid lay still, with its eyes closed as if in slumber. Its long tail could be seen moving, but no one wanted to go near it in fear that they would be dragged to the depths. The townsfolk watched in hushed anticipation, unsure of what to do. It was a moment that defied explanation, a meeting between fantasy and reality. Word reached the local authorities, and soon officers could be seen throughout the area, telling people that they had to move on. Allegedly, a team of marine experts and biologists arrived to assess the situation. They approached the creature cautiously, respecting its ethereal presence. With meticulous care, they examined the creature, studying its unique features and attempting to unravel the mystery of its arrival. Not much else was released about the encounter, with the townspeople saying that they were told to move on. Skeptics, though, suggested that the creature in question wasn't a mermaid and could have been a dolphin or a whale that had washed up on the beach, and that due to the creature having its head covered, it would have made it difficult for the eyewitnesses to have seen what it was. However, this hasn't stopped people from believing that these creatures exist. Mermaid encounters have been a subject of fascination and intrigue throughout human history. Legends and tales of these mystical beings have spanned cultures and continents, captivating the imaginations of people around the world. While mermaids are often associated with folklore and myth, there have been numerous accounts of alleged mermaid sightings and encounters throughout the ages. These encounters have fueled speculation, wonder, and debate, blurring the line between fantasy and reality. The earliest records of mermaid encounters date back thousands of years. In ancient civilizations such as Mesopotamia, Assyria, and Greece, there are references to water-dwelling creatures with both human and fish-like features. These depictions laid the foundation for the mermaid mythology that has persisted throughout history. One famous account of a mermaid encounter is that of Christopher Columbus during his voyages to the New World. In his journal entries, he documented seeing 3 mermaids near the coast of present-day Haiti. However, it is widely believed that what Columbus actually saw were manatees, a marine mammal that bears some resemblance to mermaids. Over the centuries, there have been numerous reports from sailors and fishermen claiming to have encountered mermaids. These accounts often describe encounters in which sailors spotted beautiful women with fish-like tails swimming alongside their ships or resting on rocks. These sightings were attributed to the mesmerizing effect of long voyages, coupled with the sea's vastness and the human tendency to interpret unfamiliar sights through existing cultural myths and beliefs. In more recent times, alleged mermaid encounters have been reported in various locations around the world. In 2009, Villagers in the coastal town of Kiryat Yam in Israel claimed to have spotted a mermaid swimming near the shore. The sightings attracted a large crowd, and the local municipality even offered a reward for proof of the mermaid's existence. However, skeptics argued that the sightings were likely a result of misidentifications or hoaxes. Similar accounts of mermaid sightings have emerged in different parts of the world, including the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia. These encounters often gain attention in local communities and capture the interest of the media, sparking debates about their authenticity and the existence of these mythical creatures. Scientifically, the existence of mermaids is widely regarded as a product of folklore, mythology, and the human imagination. The physical attributes of mermaids, such as their fish-like tails and ability to breathe underwater, are biologically implausible for humans. Marine creatures like manatees, dugongs, or seals are often cited as potential sources of misidentifications in alleged mermaid sightings. Nonetheless, the allure of mermaids persists in popular culture, art, literature, and entertainment. Mermaids continue to enchant the minds of individuals, symbolizing a connection between land and sea, the beauty of nature, and the mysteries that lie beneath the waves. As of right now, mermaid encounters occupy a unique space between myth and reality. While the majority of reported sightings can be attributed to misidentifications, legends, and cultural beliefs, they reflect humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown and our desire for enchantment. The allure of mermaids lies in their representation of a mythical realm where the boundaries between human and animal, land and sea, blur. Whether real or imagined, mermaids continue to captivate our imaginations and remind us of the enduring power of folklore and the mysteries that reside within our collective consciousness.
Scientists call for the ocean to be legally treated as a living being. Our ocean is an extraordinary place. It's the beginning of all life and from whence we all came. Therefore, humanity's overall treatment of it seems extremely cruel when we consider all the wrongs we have done towards it. For centuries, it has provided us with substance and resources. It's responsible for much of the oxygen that allows us to breathe in our atmosphere. Despite this, our oceans remain the lowest priority when it comes to battles against climate change and environmental concerns. Scientists are calling for better recognition of the ocean in hopes of salvaging it for the future. Many believe that without change, the oceans could be lost to us forever. Biologist Michelle Bender and Rachel Bustamante from the Earth Law Center, USA, have released their research and argument in PLOS Biology, a scientific paper. Bender and Bustamante have stated maintaining the status quo of environmental law equates to the legalized destruction of nature. International law needs to evolve to reflect the ocean's inherent rights to exist, flourish, and regenerate. Ocean health is human health. It's notable that they capitalized nature in their statement to reflect their belief that nature deserves to be acknowledged as its own being. They claim that nature deserves to be viewed as equal to humans and not as a resource for us to demolish and abuse. This argument that the ocean should be considered a being in its own right falls under the modern concept of Earth law, which dictates that humans should see the world itself as something sacred to be protected and respected. Biologists hope to raise awareness of this movement to have the Earth recognized as something to support under legal constitutions, such as the right to exist. Simply put, certain groups believe that the Earth deserves to share our universal human rights. Bustamante and Bender write, building upon Earth law and rights of nature understandings, ocean-centered governance recognizes the ocean as a living entity, advancing law, policy, and institutional action that centers the needs of the ocean in decision-making. The UN General Assembly publicly announced in late 2017 that the era between 2021 and 2030 would focus on repairing the harm done to the oceans, and that the UN would place further consideration into aquatic research and figure out ways to make our coexistence with the ocean and its creatures sustainable and less damaging to the environment. In 2015, scientists released the first universal ocean assessment, which opened the eyes of many communities as to how deeply the seas were suffering. The report revealed that climate change, overfishing, resource gathering, and most importantly, pollution have impacted the oceans more than previously anticipated. Since then, researchers have been working out ways to solve this ever-growing problem in hopes of rescuing oceanic life before it's too late. As things stand, the situation keeps getting worse. Little is being done to subvert the consequences of our actions, which are already occurring and destroying the ocean by filling it with trash, oil spills, and immense amounts of carbon dioxide.
This expansive road materialized along the coastline of Sakhalin Island. The mysterious photographs quickly led to the emergence of various theories regarding a potential lost civilization. A massive stone road suddenly appeared on the shores of Sakhalin Island. Although it was only visible for a brief period of time, it attracted enough attention for hundreds of photographs to be captured. The unexpected appearance startled the residents of the island, and many of them said that the mysterious road appeared out of nowhere. Sakhalin Island is situated in the Ring of Fire, an area renowned for its significant subduction zones. This accounts for the frequent occurrence of intense seismic and volcanic activity on the island. It shares its southern border with Japanese islands. It is important to note that certain individuals who question the origin of these enigmatic structures argue that a natural cause is the most plausible explanation. However, it should be acknowledged that while this explanation may account for their formation, it does not provide insight into their actual creation. The massive road can be observed to bear a striking resemblance to those constructed by ancient civilizations, but it has been noticeably weathered by the relentless force of the sea. Therefore, numerous individuals have expressed the desire for a comprehensive geological or archaeological examination to be conducted on this enigmatic formation. It is important to mention that in close proximity to that location, along the coast of Japan, there exist enigmatic underwater structures known as yonaguni. Various researchers have suggested that these submerged structures are associated with the mysterious civilization known as Mu. The expansive highway running along the coastline of Sakhalin bears a striking resemblance to the well-known Bimini Road, which is believed to be the remnants of the mythical Atlantis discovered in the Caribbean Sea. The colossal highway remains shrouded in mystery, with limited information available regarding its nature, except for its remarkable and transitory existence. The allure of the oceans has always captivated human imagination, offering sustenance, exploration, and trade routes to countless civilizations throughout history. However, beneath the depths lies a profound mystery. The ocean's relentless advance has claimed numerous ancient civilizations, swallowing their cities, cultures, and stories into its abyss. The history of humanity is replete with examples of thriving civilizations that flourished along coastlines, deltas, and rivers, only to be engulfed by the rising tides. The lost city of Atlantis, a legendary civilization described by Plato, has intrigued scholars for centuries. Although its existence remains disputed, the narrative underscores the fascination with the concept of a magnificent civilization consumed by the sea. Natural disasters, shifting tectonic plates, and rising sea levels have all played pivotal roles in the submersion of ancient civilizations. The destruction wrought by earthquakes and tsunamis can erase entire coastal communities from the face of the earth. The Minoan civilization, centered on the island of Crete, is an illustrative example. Around 1600 BCE, the cataclysmic eruption of the Thera volcano generated tsunamis that devastated Minoan settlements and contributed to the civilization's decline. Additionally, the inexorable rise of sea levels due to melting ice caps and climate change poses a contemporary threat. The sunken city of Papyri, located off the coast of Greece, serves as a stark reminder of this phenomenon. Submerged around 1000 BCE, the ruins offer insights into early urban planning and societal organization, while also sounding a warning about the environmental challenges faced by modern coastal communities. The stories of these submerged civilizations resonate with profound lessons that extend beyond their historical contexts. They underscore the impermanence of human achievements and the vulnerability of even the most advanced societies in the face of natural forces. The oceans, which once nurtured and sustained these civilizations, now serve as repositories of their memory, reminding us of the transitory nature of human endeavors. Advancements in technology have revolutionized our ability to explore and document the submerged remnants of ancient civilizations. Underwater archaeology, remote sensing techniques, and robotic exploration tools have allowed researchers to delve into the depths and unearth treasures hidden beneath the waves. These discoveries enrich our understanding of history and culture, while offering opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration between archaeologists, oceanographers, and environmental scientists. Across cultures and civilizations, tales of a catastrophic deluge have been woven into the fabric of human history, leaving an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. From the Epic of Gilgamesh to the biblical story of Noah's Ark, the theme of a great flood that engulfs the world and reshapes humanity's destiny transcends time and geography. The Great Flood narrative is not confined to a single culture. Instead, it emerges as a universal motif that spans the globe. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the earliest known works of literature from ancient Mesopotamia, recounts the story of a catastrophic flood, unleashed by the gods to punish humanity's transgressions. The tale of Utnapishtim, a survivor of the flood, mirrors the biblical account of Noah's Ark, where a chosen family and pairs of animals are saved from the waters. In Indian mythology, the Matsya Purana recounts the story of King Manu, who is warned of an impending flood by a fish, which later transforms into a giant fish to save him and the world's creatures. Similarly, in the Native American tradition, the Hopi people share stories of the Great Deluge, describing how they were led to safety on the back of a turtle. These diverse flood narratives reflect the human impulse to grapple with questions of mortality, divine intervention, and the cyclical nature of existence. The universality of the theme suggests that, despite vast geographical distances and cultural differences, societies sought to explain the unfathomable forces of nature and their own place within the cosmos. The Great Flood narrative often serves as a moral lesson, reminding humanity of the consequences of hubris and the need for humility and respect for the natural world. It encapsulates a collective fear of the uncontrollable, a reverence for the power of the elements, and a desire for salvation and renewal. While the Great Flood narrative is deeply rooted in mythology and cultural memory, scientific investigations have sought to uncover the kernels of truth that might underlie these stories. Geological evidence suggests that catastrophic floods did occur in various regions throughout history, often resulting from the melting of glaciers, the collapse of natural dams, or tsunamis triggered by seismic events. One of the most notable examples is the flooding of the Black Sea around 7,000 years ago, which may have inspired some of the flood narratives in the region. The Mediterranean Sea once breached the natural barrier, inundating the basin and creating a dramatic flood that could have been etched into local memory and passed down through generations. The Great Flood narrative continues to resonate in modern times, offering insights into the human capacity to grapple with uncertainty and change. These narratives also prompt us to consider the ethical and moral dimensions of our relationship with the environment. They encourage us to reflect on our responsibility as stewards of the earth and the consequences of heedless exploitation of natural resources. The recurring motif of a catastrophic deluge transcends time and geography, permeating the myths and legends of numerous ancient civilizations. The Great Flood narrative holds a profound cultural significance, often serving as a foundation for a civilization's creation myths and religious beliefs. Many ancient societies attached divine meaning to the concept of a flood, using it as a backdrop to explain the origins of humanity, the gods' interactions with mortals, and the cyclical nature of life and death. The universality of the flood narrative could stem from a shared human experience of facing natural calamities, creating an empathetic bridge across cultures. Floods are among the most devastating of natural disasters, leaving a lasting imprint on societies that experienced them. The documentation of the Great Flood may have been a way for ancient civilizations to cope with the fear and trauma associated with such events by imbuing them with meaning and purpose. The documentation of the Great Flood could also be rooted in the environmental realities faced by these civilizations. Many ancient settlements were situated near rivers, lakes, or coastlines, making them vulnerable to flooding. As communities were periodically ravaged by deluges, the experiences of witnessing the destruction and struggling for survival would have etched themselves into the collective memory. Over time, these experiences might have been elaborated upon and integrated into cultural narratives, serving as cautionary tales that reinforced the importance of respecting natural boundaries. The documentation of the Great Flood by so many ancient civilizations offers a window into the intricate interplay of culture, psychology, environment, and shared experience. The universality of the flood narrative demonstrates the profound ways in which humans grapple with the mysteries of existence, our relationship with nature, and the enduring quest for meaning in a complex and unpredictable world. The tapestry of human history is a rich and intricate narrative that spans millennia, shaping the course of civilization as we know it. However, a staggering revelation casts a shadow over our understanding of the past. Approximately 98% of human history remains shrouded in obscurity, hidden beneath the veil of time. The vast majority of human history rests in the realm of the unknown, existing only as fragmented whispers in the archaeological record and speculative theories. Our comprehension of the ancient world is primarily derived from artifacts, ruins, and inscriptions, but these remnants often offer mere glimpses into the cultures, societies, and events that defined the lives of our distant ancestors. The scarcity of written records, the perishable nature of materials, and the ravages of time have collectively conspired to obscure the intricate narratives of countless civilizations. Several factors contribute to the immense historical gaps that mark our understanding of the past. One of the most significant challenges lies in the lack of written records from pre-literate societies. In the absence of written language, societies relied on oral traditions to pass down their knowledge and stories, leaving little trace for modern historians to decipher. Moreover, the materials used for early writing were often perishable, such as papyrus or wood, rendering them susceptible to decay over time. Natural disasters and conflict have also played a pivotal role in erasing entire chapters of human history. Cataclysmic events like volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and floods have submerged ancient settlements and destroyed valuable records. Additionally, the deliberate destruction of cultural heritage during times of conflict or conquest has further contributed to the loss of historical knowledge. The scarcity of historical information carries profound implications for our understanding of human development, societal evolution, and cultural dynamics. The missing epochs leave us bereft of insights into the complexities of governance, technology, belief systems, and artistic expression that shaped the trajectory of humanity. The lost civilizations could hold the keys to understanding the roots of modern societal challenges and the solutions that were developed and subsequently forgotten. Furthermore, the absence of this vast historical wealth deprives us of a sense of continuity and connection with our distant past. It is akin to a jigsaw puzzle with innumerable missing pieces, leaving gaps in our collective identity and understanding of where we come from. Amidst the mist-covered waters of Loch Ness, a man found himself on an unforgettable vacation. He described in his post that he had travelled across the world to the Scottish Highlands, drawn by the allure of the loch and the stories that had woven themselves into the fabric of local lore. The man said that he had always been fascinated by tales of mythical beasts and uncharted mysteries. As he set foot in the town of Inverness, the gateway to Loch Ness, he was captivated by the air of anticipation that enveloped the region. Stories of Nessie, the enigmatic creature that had eluded discovery for centuries, were whispered by locals and shared among travellers. One morning, he decided to embark on a solitary adventure. Hours passed as the man navigated the loch, his eyes scanning the water's surface for any sign of movement. Just as he was contemplating heading back to shore, he noticed a series of ripples breaking the stillness of the loch. As he steadied his camera, his lens captured an astonishing sight. Emerging from the water's depths was a long, sinuous shape, a form that bore an uncanny resemblance to the descriptions of Nessie passed down through generations. The creature's head couldn't be seen, but a large round body could be seen protruding from the water. The moments lasted no more than 10 seconds, but luckily he was able to capture a clear photograph. The man said that he marveled at the realization that he was experiencing a moment that had eluded countless others. As suddenly as it had appeared, Nessie began to submerge beneath the water's surface. He continued to watch in awe as the ripples dissipated and the loch returned to its serene state. He stayed looking for several more hours, but said that the creature never returned. The first mention of a submerged water beast residing within the area comes from ancient Pictish carvings, made by the Pictish people native to the region, that are dated to have been created as early as 500 AD. Many researchers have claimed the water beast carving to be a mention of the Loch Ness monster. However, images of the water beast do not seem to match expected designs of the creature, and so it is uncertain whether or not this is a reference to Nessie. The Pictish water beast carvings are known to account for 40% of all Pictish carvings, signifying great importance or emotion surrounding the existence of the creature residing within the area of Loch Ness. The first recorded direct encounter with a water beast entity residing within the loch is that of the account of St. Columba. St. Columba describes scaring off the water beast while visiting the Loch Ness. As a man was being buried close to the loch, the water beast was observed attacking a man. Thereafter, the saint scared the water beast away. Though the information in this account is not conclusive with physical descriptions matching the Loch Ness monster, it is within the same area of modern-day sightings and could be of the same species. The first known modern recorded encounter with the creature was made sometime during the year 1871 or 1872. Unfortunately, the exact year and date is unknown due to unreliable information, but 100% certainty can be placed that the event happened as early as the beginning of October 1871 and as late as the end of October 1872. The event was reported by a man known only as Mr. D. Mackenzie. Mr. D. Mackenzie did not make his report of the creature until March 26, 1934, and so the written letter was not included in any formal investigations made at a later date by Rupert Gould. Mr. D. Mackenzie's written letter to Mr. Rupert Gould is as follows. I saw it around 1872 or 1871. I was on the rock above Abriachan, taking home bracken in October, when I saw what I took to be a log of wood coming across the loch. The water was very calm at the time. I expected it to go down the loch towards the northern end of Loch Ness, when it reached the middle of the loch. However, it suddenly appeared to come to life, and seemed to me to look exactly like an upturned boat, and went at great speed, wriggling and churning up the water in the direction of the castle. It was about 12 on a grand sunny day, so it was impossible for me to be mistaken. It was an animal of some sort, and I have told this same story to my friends long before the present monster became famous. Although this description fits the average account of the Loch Ness monster, it was not the first description of the creature made to public awareness. Due to Mr. D. Mackenzie's late report, his encounter is viewed as one of the newer reports following the year 1933, the earliest year for which reports of the creature were made, and is not considered credible or reliable information, as it could have been swayed by public awareness of the creature, considering the large amount of time since its claimed sighting and the written report. No attempt was made by Rupert Gould to investigate whether other individuals would back up the claims of Mr. D. Mackenzie, as his letter tells, so no further information could be gathered from the report. The first recorded report made on the existence of the Loch Ness monster that propelled the creature into popularity and mainstream news comes from a man known as George Spicer, of whom claimed to have encountered the Loch Ness monster on the 22nd of July, 1933. George Spicer claimed that as he was driving home, along the east side of Loch Ness between Dawes and Foyers Hotel, he saw a creature described as having a long neck, a large body, a high back, no feet of any kind except webbed flippers where feet should have resided, no tail, and was carrying in its mouth a small lamb or animal of some kind. It was after this report and interview that the Loch Ness monster came into mainstream popularity. Soon thereafter, other reports would come in of others, claiming to have seen a creature, but were too scared to come forward, as they might have appeared to have been unreliable. The first report featuring physical evidence of the creature was that of Hugh Gray's photograph captured on the 12th of November in 1933. The first reliable sketch made of the creature was made by a man known as Arthur Grant, of whom sketched the creature after experiencing a personal sighting. This sighting occurred on the 5th of January in 1934. Arthur Grant claimed to have made the sighting as he had been riding his motorcycle near the area, along the road, on his way home at 1 in the morning. He claimed to have hit a large creature that he undoubtedly believed looked strikingly similar to that of a small plesiosaur creature. Arthur Grant, 21 years old at the time, was a studying young veterinarian student, and so this immediately gave his story credence. He then sketched the creature of which has now become the iconic symbol of the Loch Ness monster, with plesiosaur-like features. Prior to this sketch, many had assumed the Loch Ness monster to have more closely resembled a massive eel, given the testimony of George Spicer. If the Arthur Grant story is entirely fictitious, the eel hypothesis might prove to be the prevailing shape of the Loch Ness monster. The second report featuring physical evidence of the creature was the surgeon's photograph published on the 21st of April, 1934. The first report featuring physical video evidence of the creature was taken back on the 29th of May in 1938. A man by the name of G.E. Taylor, a tourist from South Africa, visited the location while on vacation. He had originally brought with him a 16mm color camera to film his trip, but while visiting the area of the loch, he witnessed a large creature swimming around in the distance. He then began to film the creature for more than 3 minutes with the 16mm color film camera and captured the first physical video evidence of the creature. Unfortunately, the video was acquired by Maurice Burton, a popular science writer of whom claimed to be researching the creature, and so was given the original film along with any copies. Maurice Burton then hid the film, never to be released anywhere. The reason for this move became obvious when he finally published his book. In his book, he only published one frame from the video that is regarded as the grainiest and lowest quality frame from the video, to claim it was nothing more than a hoax. However, video analysis proves the image to be evidence of a large creature, given the size of the waves, the distance of different objects, and the expected dimensions of the shot itself. This image supports the claims of a plesiosaur-like creature residing in the loch. Further evidence of a cover-up surrounding the creature comes from a recently posted letter found on the National Archives of Scotland, written by William Fraser, Chief Constable of Inverness Shire, on the 15th of August in 1938. The letter details a hidden development by the police to watch people of whom had claimed to have sighted the creature and to threaten them into submission and prevent them from gathering evidence. In the month of December in 1954, sonar imaging was gathered by a boating crew known as Rival 3. The team gathered data of a large object fitting the description of the Loch Ness monster, following the fishing vessel at a depth of roughly 470 feet below the water. The object travelled more than 2,600 feet before sonar imaging of the creature was lost. Additional sonar efforts were inconclusive. In 2011, within the month of August on the 24th, Marcus Atkinson gathered additional sonar imaging of a 4-foot-wide unidentified object following the boat for 2 minutes at a depth of 75 feet below the water. All evidence and sonar detection ruled out any kind of small fish or seal. Those who have investigated the creature have said that given the tremendous amount of effort made by the local government, skeptics and other agencies to cover up the existence of the creature, the behaviour points towards the most probable action that the creature is indeed real and fits the descriptions made apparent by Arthur Grant. Many witnesses and researchers into the Loch Ness monster have made a number of interesting parallels with the Loch Ness monster to that of the presumed to be extinct plesiosaur. Though many skeptics have rejected the idea that the plesiosaur would have survived a mass extinction event, the evidence for the survival of the species is a realistic interpretation. There are many species from the era, including shark species, that have survived this extinction-level event. Additionally, the plesiosaur species did not actively hunt and eat larger animals as originally believed, and evidence of stomach contents point towards the possibility of the plesiosaur being a bottom feeder, eating small fish, clams, snails and small squid that rested at the bottom of the sea. This eating habit would fit tremendously with the observed data of the creature resting near the bottom of the loch and maintaining a lower depth compared to other marine animals. Plesiosaur stomach contents have also shown evidence of devouring deep-sea vampire squid species. The vampire squid was originally believed to have gone extinct around the same time as the plesiosaur, as past theories of the plesiosaur believed it to be a shallow water creature. However, research now shows the vampire squid species is still alive and rests at much lower depths today. This could point evidence towards the consensus that the plesiosaur would not have faced extinction issues with a reliable food source. Additional theories hold the sentiment that the creature could potentially inhabit the loch at certain times of the year, if not less. This is due to the spawning theory. Many marine animals travel massive distances to spawn, of which could be a behavior the Loch Ness monster is also displaying. This could point to evidence as to why sonar imaging has sporadic data, and that sightings never seem to persist for more than a month at a time. Given its potential carnivorous diet, it is more than expected that the Loch Ness monster would have the physical capabilities of attacking and hurting any individual venturing too close to its native habitat. The great white shark is one of the ocean's greatest predators. These incredible animals have been the subject of international scrutiny since 2010, ever since their population started dropping in previously densely populated areas. Marine biologists, along with scientists and researchers, have said that in the last few years, an increased number of great white sharks have been washing ashore, something that isn't usually seen in this species. Great white sharks are known to migrate along the east coast of the United States, and they have been observed spending their summers off the shores of Canada. As winter comes, the sharks migrate south into warmer waters. According to the Ocean Research Organization, which tracks great white sharks all around the world, they noticed that some of their great white sharks that are being tracked have been acting strange, saying that they've been observed staying in areas that they're not normally seen in. One boat owner who lives in Canada said they made a strange discovery one morning and detailed that as they were docking into port, they could see a large great white shark at the surface of the water. The man said he approached the shark carefully, not wanting to cause it any injury, but said that as he approached the shark, it didn't even move. The boat owner said he inspected the animal for any damage, but noted that he couldn't see anything that would cause the shark to act like this. He said that he's never seen this type of behavior before. Warren Joyce, an aquatic fisheries technician with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, said that this isn't the first time that a great white shark has been reported as acting strange, and that when he investigated one of these cases, he called it unusual. He said that other shark species are usually seen washing up on beaches, but noted that it's very rare for this to happen to a great white. Warren Joyce said the following: "For a white shark, this is very uncommon. It's my understanding that there will be an autopsy done. There wasn't any obvious cause that we could see. When we arrived, she was in pretty good condition with no bites. A few scratches and some bruising that could have been caused as she was washing up." Just 1 month after this report, the Marine Animal Response Society said on social media that they were called out to investigate a male great white shark that had washed up. The Marine Animal Response Society said the following on social media: "This past weekend, we received a call to our hotline about a great white shark in New Brunswick. Although a common shark species in our waters, it's incredibly rare to receive reports of them washing ashore, making this an important opportunity to collect samples and learn more about this endangered species." With the assistance from Parks Canada, the 3.5-meter male was collected off the beach and moved to a more suitable location for sampling by our Marine Animal Response Society team and a member of the Canadian Atlantic Shark Research Laboratory with Fisheries and Oceans Canada. Our organizations worked together to collect samples important for research and future analysis that will contribute to the long-term study of this species in Canadian waters. Unfortunately, a full autopsy was not able to be performed, and the reason this animal passed away is currently unknown. We are incredibly grateful to everyone who reported this incident, to Parks Canada for their assistance with moving the shark to an appropriate sampling location, and to Fisheries and Oceans Canada for their collaboration with sampling this animal. Please remember, as an endangered species, it's illegal to handle or remove any body parts from great white sharks. Marine Animal Response Society operates under a federally issued Species at Risk Act permit to respond to incidents involving at-risk marine species in Canada. Marine biologists recently came forward and said that from 2010 to 2016, some of the world's most famous great white sharks were known to congregate in several areas across the South African coast. This included the densely populated sites in False Bay, where an estimated population of 900 of the great whites were commonly sighted. However, since 2017, researchers and cage diving operators studying the sharks in this area noticed a sudden, sharp decline in the number of sharks spotted in these areas. It's unclear how many great white sharks there are supposed to be around South Africa. Estimates range from around 500, right up to 900. When the sharks were most active in False Bay in 2010 to 2016, there were on average 205 sightings per year. However, in 2018, that number took a giant hit, plummeting right down to 50 sightings in that year, and in 2019, the number dropped to no sightings at all. The most recent great white shark sighting occurred in January 2020 in False Bay, over a year after the last sighting. For those few years between 2016 and 2020, researchers were baffled as to why the sharks had suddenly disappeared. Alison Nock, a marine biologist for South African national parks, has studied the white sharks in South Africa since 1998, and she says there is no singular theory for why the sharks have disappeared. However, she claims there are a handful of possible reasons. One being local fishing activity which targets species of sea creatures that juvenile shark pups tend to feed on. A decline in breeder sharks within the population and the predation of sharks by orcas present in the area. To begin with, media coverage of the South African great whites indicates that demersal shark longline fisheries are the central culprit for the decline. These fisheries target and capture the important smaller shark breeds that juvenile white sharks tend to feed on, which directly impacts the shark's mortality rate. For every smaller shark that's caught and taken out in these areas, there's one less for each white shark pup to feed on and gain nutrients from. Without these, the sharks just waste away. Furthermore, fisheries in and around these areas use shark nets and drum lines, baited hooks specifically targeting sharks to cull the white sharks to prevent them from swimming too close to the shore. From 2013 to 2017, on average, 17 great whites passed away on these drum lines every year. This supports the theory that demersal longline fishing in the area had a direct impact on the drop of great white sharks in the region. However, the problem with this theory is that scientists from South Africa's Department of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries have indicated that there is a lack of data to support it. These scientists say that they can only recommend catch control based on data, but there are no limits in place, and there are ample concerns about the notoriously weak monitoring of the South African coastlines. Marine biologists working out of the area have made some interesting findings. While sightings in the Western Cape have dropped, those in the Eastern Cape have jumped right up, indicating that the sharks may have simply moved, despite the fact that there's still longline shark fishing there. Furthermore, the data being used to fuel this research is relatively new, being that recorded observations in False Bay only began in 1996. It's also important to note that the larger white sharks spend a lot of time far offshore, and the satellite tags used to track the sharks are extremely expensive, which means that there's so much movement and data that we never even get to see. To conclude, with all of this information and data that we can't see, we cannot possibly know if the fishing of smaller prey sharks is the primary cause of the decline. Another cause of the decline could be attributed to the decline in breeders within the South African white shark population. Sarah Andriotti studies the genetics of white sharks around the South African coast. In a 2-year study from 2009 to 2011, Sarah estimated that there were only 300 breeders in a single white shark population, where the minimum is supposed to be 500 to prevent inbreeding. This low breeder count suggests that the male sharks within the population are not surviving, either through health difficulties or culling by the local fisheries. This then means that the mature female sharks wouldn't have been able to breed as highly, which could be an explanation for the dwindling shark count. However, there isn't much data to support this, so it's hard to know if this had a significant impact on the difference in sighting counts. The final theory, and the most plausible and supported of the bunch, is the recent spike in orca presence along the South African coast. Orcas are known for preying on seabirds, octopuses, sea turtles, rays, fish, and sharks. They're also known for being highly aggressive, especially if they're of the transient type, traveling in pods, acting like wolf packs in order to hunt marine mammals. Furthermore, orcas are one of the most widely distributed mammals, living in most oceans and seas surrounding coastal countries. However, they prefer to cruise the waters at higher latitudes. Since 2015, an increasing number of orcas have been spotted in and around the South African coast. To begin with, 2 orcas were first spotted in False Bay in 2015. Around the same time, the carcasses of a group of broad-nosed 7-gill sharks were found in False Bay. The teeth impressions from the wounds indicated that the culprit appeared to be an orca. 2 years later, in 2017, 5 white shark carcasses washed up on the shores with their livers removed and with the teeth marks of orcas. At the same time, Alison Nock published a paper on the first documentation of a novel feeding technique, which explained how the orcas used force to break the shark's pectoral girdle, thus enabling them to bite out the liver and discard the rest of the carcass. As a result of this newfound information, Alison theorized that the disappearance of the sharks from False Bay was due to the growing orca presence in the area. Alison's theory is further supported by several other orca sightings that were documented at the time. For example, Salvador Jorgensen tagged 17 white sharks off the coast of the Farallon Islands, and they all disappeared. In his studies of the sharks, he found that the white shark can disappear for up to a year during the time that orcas pass through the area. This could be an explanation of the white shark migration to the Great White Shark Cafe between Hawaii and California. Meanwhile, this natural migration as a result of the orcas could also be an explanation for their disappearance from False Bay and other South African coasts. However, this might be a misinformed argument that's based on the data from 2 orcas. Due to the shark's evasive migration, there was an increase in white shark sightings further along the coast in Mossel Bay. At the end of 2019, Alison studied the orcas that passed through Mossel Bay at the time and found that they had orca pods come into an aggregation site with no change in white shark sightings. These orcas didn't include the 2 orcas that were seen in the area. Nonetheless, at the end of 2019, a video surfaced that shows an orca being interested in one particular white shark. Data shows that that same shark population dropped from 10 white sharks down to nothing overnight. Therefore, it's hard to say whether multiple orcas are the cause of these passings, or if it's just those 2. Either way, we can say with some level of certainty that increased orca presence in the False Bay and coastal areas directly impacted the number of white sharks that were around at the time. However, we can't be certain of which particular orcas are responsible. All of this data helps us better understand these incredible animals. As of right now, it's not just great white sharks that are washing up on shores and declining in numbers. Scientists and researchers who've been conducting their own studies have said this is happening in various locations across the world. And worryingly, when we look at some of the causes, human activity in the ocean seems to be a leading factor. One recent study revealed the Navy's use of sonar is hurting whales. It has been determined that active sonar is extremely harmful to whales and other aquatic animals, specifically a type of active sonar referred to as low-frequency active sonar. Low-frequency active sonar emits sound at a decibel nearly twice that of a rock concert and can maintain the decibel of a concert for 300 miles underwater. Not only is this incredibly loud, it's severely detrimental to animals who primarily use long-range sound underwater to communicate with each other, to find food, and to navigate. Low-frequency active sonar has led to animals losing contact with other members of their species, to them no longer foraging for food, and to them swimming deep or rising quickly because they are frightened by the sound. The world's oceans, covering more than 70% of the Earth's surface, have always held an allure of mystery and wonder. Beneath their seemingly endless depths lie enigmatic realms teeming with life, undiscovered wonders, and unexplained phenomena. Ocean mysteries have fascinated humanity for centuries, drawing explorers, scientists, and adventurers into the abyss to uncover the secrets hidden beneath the waves. From ancient legends of sea monsters to modern scientific marvels, the mysteries of the ocean continue to captivate our imaginations and challenge our understanding of the planet's last great frontier. One fisherman recently shared a mysterious photograph after encountering a humanoid. It was a moonless night in the Indonesian archipelago, and the sea stretched out like an endless expanse of darkness. The only illumination came from the distant stars that flickered in the inky sky. In the heart of this mysterious realm, a lone fisherman named Surya embarked on a nightly voyage, guided by the timeless rhythm of the ocean. Surya described himself as a weathered man, but one that was very familiar with the water, stating that he had spent countless decades fishing throughout the area. Every night, he set out on his small fishing boat, hoping for a bountiful catch that would provide for his family in the coastal village of Labuan Bajo. But on this particular night, he was destined for an encounter that would defy all his expectations. As the hours passed and the dark veil of night enveloped the waters, Surya's boat gently rocked with the rhythm of the waves. He said that he cast his nets into the depths below, hoping that the sea would be generous tonight. Suddenly, a strange, haunting noise echoed through the night, describing it as sounding like a scream. He strained his eyes to see what could be causing the eerie sound, and he was able to see a mysterious figure in the water. He described it as an ugly humanoid, and due to being superstitious, called it Nyi Roro Kidul, which is a supernatural water spirit known in Indonesian folklore. Surya reached for his camera, which he always kept on board to capture his adventures, and as he focused his lens on the creature, the camera's flash momentarily illuminated the night, catching the creature's attention. After this, he said that the creature quickly swam into the depths. As mentioned, he thought the creature could have been Nyi Roro Kidul, often referred to as the Queen of the Southern Seas, or simply the Queen of the South. She's a prominent and enigmatic figure in Indonesian folklore and mythology. Her name resonates across the archipelago, capturing the imagination of those who hear her stories. Nyi Roro Kidul is not just a myth, she is a revered and powerful supernatural entity, deeply intertwined with the cultural and spiritual fabric of Indonesia. The legend of Nyi Roro Kidul has its roots in the Javanese and Sundanese cultures of Indonesia, particularly in the realms of Javanese mysticism and spiritual beliefs. The name Nyi Roro Kidul translates to Queen of the Southern Seas or Lady of the South in Javanese, and her domain is believed to encompass the Indian Ocean, especially the southern coast of Java. The folklore and legends surrounding Nyi Roro Kidul are as diverse and captivating as the Indonesian archipelago itself. One of the most prominent stories tells of her origin as a mortal woman who became a powerful queen. Some variations suggest that she was a princess named Dewi Sari Ratnaningrum, who ruled over the southern coastal region of Java. As of right now, people can't seem to agree on what the image shows. Interestingly enough, all throughout history, fishermen have reported encountering humanoid creatures in the ocean. The history of mermaid sightings spans across cultures and centuries, suggesting that these aquatic beings are more than just products of myth and legend. While historical accounts may differ in detail, they consistently describe humanoid creatures with upper bodies resembling that of a woman and lower bodies resembling that of a fish. Such consistency in descriptions across diverse cultures raises intriguing questions about the origin of these tales. Despite technological advancements and scientific exploration, the vastness and complexity of the ocean depths continue to challenge our understanding. Regarded as a vastly uncharted domain, the Earth's oceans harbor a multitude of enigmatic wonders and perplexing phenomena that have astounded and bewildered experts worldwide ever since their revelations. These aquatic realms, stretching far and wide, are brimming with an abundance of intriguing secrets and peculiar happenings that continue to captivate our imagination. Mermaids, the mystical beings often characterized as half-human, half-fish creatures, have captured the imagination and curiosity of people worldwide. They are frequently associated with inexplicable occurrences and perplexing oceanic enigmas. Contrary to the charming and fantastical depictions of mermaids in animations, the mermaids found in Zimbabwe have become an ongoing issue for the residents residing close to the expansive water bodies in the country. These humanoid beings have allegedly been the cause of numerous indiscriminate assaults, acts of vandalism, and even disruptions in various construction projects. The existence of these Zimbabwean mermaids has created significant challenges for the local communities. In addition to their menacing behavior, these mythical creatures have become a source of great disturbance and inconvenience. In the year 2012, during the construction of the Gokwe and Osborne dams, a construction company based in Zimbabwe reported a startling incident that caused widespread panic among its workers. According to their account, a peculiar and frightening creature, known as the Mamba Muntu, had been responsible for numerous attacks on the employees, eventually leading them to flee the construction site in fear for their lives. This mysterious humanoid river monster instilled such terror in the workers that they felt compelled to abandon their duties and seek safety elsewhere. According to popular belief, the Mamba Muntu beings were thought to utilize the rivers as their natural pathways leading to the vast ocean. The local legends claimed that these mystical creatures were deeply displeased and aggrieved by the ongoing construction projects taking place near the riverbanks. There were extensive discussions surrounding the ongoing construction, questioning the feasibility of proceeding without conducting a thorough assessment of the environmental implications. Regardless of contractual obligations and health regulations, construction persisted under immense pressure. Due to the deep-seated superstitious beliefs of the local workforce, the construction of the dam project faced a major setback. This compelled the local council to take the drastic measure of recruiting a completely new set of workers from abroad to continue the construction work. The prevalent superstitions among the locals were so strongly ingrained that they adamantly refused to carry on with the project. Strangely, it is worth noting that, despite several weeks of enduring their employment, even the foreign workers eventually decided to resign. Their reason for leaving was their assertion that they had encountered aggressive sea creatures with human-like characteristics while working near the river. In order to pacify these peculiar beings, the council found themselves compelled to conduct elaborate purification ceremonies and present offerings to the creatures, ensuring a smooth continuation of the construction process without encountering any subsequent problems. These mystifying entities demanded utmost attention and respect, necessitating the council's thorough engagement in rituals that cleanse and purify the surroundings. Zambia, an often overlooked country in relation to Zimbabwe, took on the ambitious task of constructing the Kariba Dam in the very same waterways that run through its territory. The implementation of this project was deemed crucial for the region due to the multiple benefits it would bring. Firstly, harnessing the power of the river water would not only fulfill the entire electricity demand of the area, but also alleviate the power shortage issues. Moreover, the project would serve as a significant source of employment for the local population, offering them opportunities to earn a sustainable income. The comprehensive nature of this initiative ensures that it not only addresses immediate power needs, but also contributes to the long-term economic development of the region. Regrettably, a significant number of religious leaders, who were already enduring the heavy-handedness of the government, held the belief that the establishment of the dam constituted a transgression against the sacred principles of their deity, Nyaminyami. This view stemmed from the deep reverence they held for Nyaminyami and their conviction that the dam's construction went against the very essence of their religious faith. Nyaminyami, who was primarily recognized as the deity associated with the Zambezi River, was believed to not only oversee the river but also make it his dwelling place. The religious leaders engaged in a heated discussion, presenting their beliefs that the construction of the dam would provoke the wrath of Nyaminyami, the deity associated with the natural ecosystem. They warned of dire consequences and the potential for a catastrophic tragedy. In an effort to resist the government's plans for construction, they fervently urged the local population to stand against it. Despite the opposition expressed by the religious leaders, a significant number of the local population continued their involvement in the construction of the dam, thereby aiding the government's strategic plan to compel the indigenous Batonga community to relocate from their ancestral dwellings and establish new settlements elsewhere. Although the religious authorities voiced their dissent, urging the residents to abstain from participating in the dam construction, their appeals were largely disregarded. In a striking coincidence that seemed almost foretold by the religious leaders, a catastrophic flood wreaked havoc in the area not long after the resettlement of the Batonga people. Tragically, the dam, which was under construction but only partially completed, obstructed the water's natural path, resulting in its complete destruction. The devastating consequence of this event was the loss of all the workers involved in the dam construction project. Their lives were tragically cut short, and the dam itself met its demise as well. The unfolding of these events appeared uncannily aligned with the predictions made by religious leaders. In light of the fact that a significant number of the deceased individuals were residents of the area, this prompted numerous relatives to plead with the religious authorities for assistance in removing the curse and ensuring the construction of the dam proceeds smoothly without any future complications. This situation has sparked a deep concern among the local community, leading to a desperate need for intervention from religious leaders. According to the religious authorities, it was conveyed to the populace that the sole solution to alleviate the curse was to present a young bovine to the flowing waters. Interestingly, after the ritual concluded, the labourers seemingly materialised at the spot where the aforementioned creature was immersed in the river, leading to the eventual pacification of lingering spirits. This mysterious turn of events offered much-needed closure to the tormented souls. The enigmas of the vast ocean have captivated humanity for ages, concealing numerous enigmatic wonders beneath their obscure and unexplored abysses. In this modern era driven by technological advancements, the ocean continues to amaze us with unexpected revelations. A prime example of this is the astounding uncovering of pyramid-shaped formations resting on the seabed, a momentous achievement facilitated by the ingenious utilization of Google Earth's capabilities. In this age of advanced satellite imagery and digital mapping technologies, our world has become exceptionally accessible. The impact of these technological advancements is not only limited to simplifying navigation and exploration on land, but has also significantly expanded to encompass the profound depths of our oceans. Among the various innovations, Google Earth has emerged as an invaluable resource for both marine researchers and ambitious explorers, providing them with an exceptional tool to unearth the hidden treasures that lie beneath the ocean's surface. This comprehensive and sophisticated mapping tool has revolutionized the way marine researchers approach their work. With its vast database and impressive imaging capabilities, Google Earth has fostered a new era of exploration beneath the waves. By incorporating satellite imagery and extensive underwater mapping, this powerful tool has granted researchers and explorers unparalleled access to previously unseen areas. The exploration of the pyramid-like formations beneath the ocean's depths commenced when a team of amateur marine enthusiasts and researchers dedicated their efforts to closely examining satellite images on Google Earth. Their objective was to unearth concealed underwater anomalies, and during their pursuit, they unexpectedly stumbled upon a collection of perplexing images that defied rational explanation. These immense pyramid-shaped structures, nestled deep beneath the ocean's surface, extended for hundreds of feet into the unfathomable abyss. The fascinating discovery of these enigmatic underwater structures has piqued the curiosity of both experts and enthusiasts alike. The comprehensive examination of satellite imagery provided substantial evidence of their existence, giving rise to numerous questions and speculations concerning their origin and purpose. The news regarding this remarkable finding rapidly proliferated, captivating the interest of enthusiastic non-professional investigators. The initial images, initially regarded as peculiar irregularities, were promptly authenticated through additional satellite scans. The unquestionable presence of these submerged pyramids not only astonished, but also invoked perplexing inquiries that reverberated throughout the realms of marine science and archaeology. The research of this groundbreaking discovery allowed for a thorough analysis, shedding light on various aspects and prompting a deep exploration of the subject matter. The structures resembling pyramids discovered underwater drew striking parallels to those seen in ancient civilizations such as Egypt and Central America. However, what set them apart was their colossal size and their placement on the ocean floor, a phenomenon never encountered before. These enigmatic structures stood quietly amidst the depths, concealing their origins and purpose, thus intensifying the mystique surrounding them. The unveiling of this extraordinary find necessitated answers, prompting an international scientific expedition to delve deeper into the mystery and shed light on its true nature. With the confirmation of the discovery, numerous individuals have expressed the desire for an international consortium comprising scientists, marine archaeologists, and deep-sea explorers to undertake a bold and ambitious expedition aimed at conducting a first-hand investigation of the enigmatic underwater pyramids. These remarkable findings have captured global attention, igniting intense discussions, theories, and imaginative conjecture. Professionals and enthusiasts alike have wrestled with the enigma surrounding their source and significance. These intriguing discoveries have prompted a deep examination, leading to a comprehensive analysis of their origins and intended meanings. Many speculations have emerged regarding the origin of these structures. with some suggesting that they are remnants left behind by a highly advanced civilization that once graced the Earth in ancient times. On the other hand, there is a school of thought that proposes these remarkable architectural marvels are the product of an advanced and technologically sophisticated human society, the existence of which has sadly been obscured by the annals of history. The recent revelation of pyramid-shaped formations found beneath the ocean surface, thanks to the utilization of Google Earth, marks a significant milestone in the realms of marine science and archaeology. These submerged pyramids present a captivating enigma that stretches the boundaries of our knowledge in the fields of history, civilization, and the profound mysteries hidden within the depths of our planet. As scientists continue to decipher the hieroglyphs, study the artifacts, and unlock the secrets held within, one thing remains clear: the enigma of the oceanic pyramids will captivate humanity for generations to come. The discovery serves as a testament to the boundless wonders of our planet and the limitless potential for uncovering the secrets that lie hidden beneath the waves. The exploration of ocean mysteries has always captivated our curiosity due to the immense expanse of uncharted territories they symbolize. Despite significant progress in scientific and technological advancements, our understanding of the world's oceans remains limited, with only a fraction of its vast expanses being explored. The deep sea, in particular, remains largely uncharted, harboring enigmatic secrets and extraordinary marvels that have yet to be discovered and revealed to the world. The allure of these oceanic enigmas stems from their uncanny ability to defy our attempts at complete comprehension. The allure of the unknown captivates our imaginations with its strong grasp. The concept of concealed realms beneath the ocean's surface, brimming with enigmatic lives and unsolved puzzles, sparks our curiosity and fuels our spirit of exploration. These unfathomable depths of the ocean signify the ultimate frontier on our planet, where countless discoveries lie in wait, beckoning us to embark on new adventures. The anticipation of uncharted territories sustains our fervor and keeps us actively engaged in unraveling the mysteries of the deep sea. The vast expanse of the world's oceans harbors an awe-inspiring and diverse range of species, many of which cannot be found anywhere else on our planet's terrestrial surfaces. The sheer richness of biodiversity that exists within the deep realms of the ocean consistently astounds both scientists and those who have a deep appreciation for the wonders of nature. The ocean, in all its magnificence, serves as a veritable treasure trove of unique and mesmerizing biological marvels. When we delve into the mysterious depths of the ocean, we encounter an astonishing variety of organisms that defy imagination. These organisms possess remarkable adaptations to their extreme and unforgiving aquatic habitats. The intriguing and enigmatic nature of marine life never fails to captivate us. It serves as a constant reminder that even in the modern era, our planet Earth harbors an array of creatures and ecosystems that appear otherworldly to our human sensibilities. The complexities of the ocean's mysteries not only highlight the limitations of our knowledge regarding life on our own planet, but also stress the significance of safeguarding these delicate ecosystems for the benefit of future generations. In this rapidly evolving world, our curiosity is piqued by the peculiar and extraordinary marine species that inhabit the depths of the ocean. Over the course of centuries, the vast expanse of the ocean has witnessed a myriad of perplexing occurrences and unsolved enigmas. These intriguing historical puzzles ignite our captivation with the mysterious and our yearning to unravel conundrums. We are irresistibly attracted to these perplexing riddles as they confront our comprehension of the world, inciting discussions and giving birth to numerous hypotheses and explorations. Oceanic enigmas continue to hold us spellbound for a myriad of compelling reasons. The uncharted expanse that lies beneath the surface, the astounding variety of life forms it houses, the historical puzzles waiting to be unraveled, the submerged remnants of ancient civilizations, the captivating natural phenomena it showcases, and the pressing environmental concerns it raises all contribute to our enduring fascination with the ocean. The deep-sea mysteries not only ignite a sense of astonishment, but also kindle an insatiable curiosity within us, serving as a constant reminder of the immeasurable marvels that our planet beholds. As we plunge further into the enigmatic depths, we begin to fathom the profound elegance and intricate interconnectedness of this crucial component of our world. It reinforces the urgent imperative to safeguard its splendor. The ocean, with its enigmatic allure, remains an inexhaustible wellspring of inspiration and exploration, beckoning us to embark on an unending odyssey of enlightenment and comprehension. It's amazing to consider just how ancient our world truly is, how vast and endless our history is, and how many fruitful cultures exist and have existed in millennia gone by. Extraordinary secrets hide in plain sight, mysteries for which the answers have been lost to time. Will we discover them, or will they fall into the unknown forever? Only time will tell. A 1,000-year-old mummy found in Egyptian sewers. Egypt is famous for its extensive collection of relics and signs of great human achievements. In its golden age, the ancient nation had a rich culture brimming with art, language, mythology, structures, and architecture, some beyond our modern understanding. For centuries, it has been a special place for archaeologists hoping to uncover new secrets still buried beneath the desert sands. Somewhat unfortunately, as the world advances, the many lost relics can end up destroyed or tarnished. Egyptian authorities made a surprising discovery in the sewers, noting that sarcophagi and ancient priceless artifacts had been found. It's thought that these relics ended up in the sewers because of illegal traders who built a tunnel to rapidly rid of their illicit goods rather than be captured with them in their possession due to the strict laws prohibiting the illegal trade. Through a thorough investigation, archaeologists and authorities were able to uncover that the mummified bodies were stolen from the tombs in a small remote village on the outskirts of the Egyptian city of Minya. The tombs stand by the western bank of the life-giving Nile, which in itself connects the people of the past to those of the present. The sarcophagi were taken to the Egyptian National Ministry of Antiquities, where they are now kept safe and secure. The ministry had its scientists and archaeologists analyze the mummies and dated them to be, at their youngest, 1,600 years old, going all the way back to the Greco-Roman period of Egyptian history when their specific type of mummification and wrapping was practiced. Because the art of mummification changed through the passage of eras, archaeologists are able to deduce when a mummy might have departed from life based on how the body was prepared and the way it was wrapped. These mummies in particular were wrapped heavily in linen and scarcely had any remaining organs. According to reporter Nada Dayar, the sarcophagi the police found the mummies in were floating in sewage, and their conditions were so bad that they had disintegrated. The report goes on to state the mummies had been those of women, as their sarcophagi had illustrations of evidently feminine figures, brightly coloured even after all these centuries. There have been endless efforts made to try and fix the mummies to their former state before they were tarnished by the waste of the sewers. The Book of the Dead. Last year, in March of 2022, a surprising discovery was uncovered in the dark depths of a tomb in the Step Pyramid of Djoser, an alleged Book of the Dead. The book is actually no book at all, but instead a 2,000-year-old ancient scroll. The scroll reaches 52 feet in length. Part of its contents are vivid drawings of old gods and glimpses into what might await us on the other side. The name given to the book by archaeologists was the Waziri Papyrus, after the Secretary-General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, Mustafa Waziri, who first found the scroll. The scroll was found inside a sarcophagus being excavated by the archaeologists. Interestingly, the mummy inside it was called Ahmose, given that the Waziri Papyrus references an Ahmose an estimated 260 times in the text. Ahmose was in possession of immense wealth to commission and be buried with such a rich, lengthy document. However, other than the Waziri Papyrus and the immediate belongings found in his tomb, little about Ahmose is truly known. The scroll showcases many illustrations of Osiris, the god of the underworld. The document itself is composed of various different texts surrounding afterlife myths, various spells and guides as to how to easily make the journey from life to the afterlife. It's meant to make Ahmose's departure from this world into the next swift and painless with the use of magic. The scroll's title as the Book of the Dead was not given by the Egyptians that wrote it or buried Ahmose. Rather, it was known as the Book of Emerging Forth into the Light. Carl Richard Lepsius, a Prussian Egyptologist, created the term Book of the Dead to describe such documents. The Waziri papyrus is beautifully written in a sophisticated form of ancient hieroglyphs in a mixture of black and red ink, giving it an otherworldly appearance. The papyrus is spread throughout 313 individual chapters, which were carefully structured and arranged by its creators. The spells within the text are written extremely specifically, showing that whoever wrote them put time and effort to ensure they worked and would do what they were supposed to do once Ahmose passed away. Ahmose was not the only one placed in the tomb, as there are 250 other sarcophagi of varying quality and wealth scattered around the Saqqara pyramid. Since its discovery, the entire script has been carefully analysed and translated into the Arabic language. Currently, the book in all its glory lies in Cairo's Egyptian Museum. The illustrations depicted on the papyrus of the underworld god Osiris are elaborate, with the deity adorning a glorious customary crown, while the god sits upon a tall throne. The ancient Egyptians did not have one underworld deity, but Osiris is believed to have been the most prominent. He also had the power over the Nile, which then allowed for the living upon the surface to survive and thrive by having the river flood each year and grant good harvests. Drawings of boats and animals scatter across the pages, thought by archaeologists to showcase what made a good offering to the deity, as well as the way one travels through the underworld, which was heavily associated with rivers and water. It's even possible that the scroll contains a drawing of Ahmose and his wife, as there is an illustration of a man and woman honouring the gods, though this remains mere speculation. In 2021, a different Book of the Dead, this one only 13 feet long, was found. Somewhat fortunately, both scrolls were discovered in the same tomb, bringing into question how many other scrolls of this kind we may find in such old burial sites and how much valuable insight they may grant us into the past. This scroll, as the previous, was filled with spells to guide the deceased.
Hidden rooms in the Great Pyramid. Almost 4,500 years ago, between 2509 BC and 2483 BC, the pharaoh Khufu was ruler of ancient Egypt. During this time, Pharaoh Khufu ordered the creation of the Great Pyramid, a monumental display of power. Built completely for himself, the pyramid itself has more than a 13-acre base and originally had a 479-foot-tall peak. The construction of the Great Pyramid is astonishing. Over 2.3 million blocks of limestone were quarried, cut to specific measurements, and then placed into the formation we know today. The Great Pyramid is regarded as one of the wonders of the ancient world. In 2017, scientists studying the pyramid announced that they had found a previously unknown void inside of the pyramid that's estimated to be around 30 meters long. The last time any kind of big structure inside the pyramid was discovered was in the 1800s. This new void was found using a process called muon radiography. This method utilizes cosmic rays to locate voids or cavities inside of structures. This new discovery is being compared to the previously discovered Grand Gallery of the pyramid. The Grand Gallery is a 150-foot-long corridor that goes directly to the burial room of Khufu, the pharaoh that commissioned this marvel of the ancient world. This corridor is also around 26 feet tall and sits below the newly discovered area. Still, it is completely unknown what or if anything lies within this area and what it was used for. It could be several smaller rooms or one large area we simply do not know. This discovery is still huge. It brings us closer to finally being able to understand and even just know the various intricacies of this truly astonishing structure. This discovery was made by the Scan Pyramids project working with the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities and is widely regarded as the most impressive achievement of the technique used to find it. We know this large void exists, but we really know nothing else about it. Hopefully it will potentially validate any ideas of exploring the Great Pyramid further, and hopefully understanding it better, maybe further exploration will uncover more secrets. Oxyrhynchus Papyri. The Oxyrhynchus Papyri are a series of manuscripts giving insights into some ancient civilizations. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, two papyrologists, Bernard Pine Grenfell and Arthur Surridge Hunt, uncovered this collection of manuscripts in Egypt. As professors of papyrology, the pair research, analyze, and study ancient literature, presented and preserved as a manuscript that has been recorded on papyrus. Papyrus was the sole most common writing material used within ancient civilizations, including ancient Egypt, so those who study it are aware of the society, culture, and languages of these ancient societies. Grenfell and Hunt found this extraordinary group of manuscripts nearby to Oxyrhynchus, an Egyptian city and well-established archaeological site. In fact, many suggest that Oxyrhynchus is the single most important archaeological site to have been discovered to date. More specifically, however, the pair discovered these texts in an ancient rubbish dump. Researchers have successfully dated the Oxyrhynchus Papyri to the Ptolemaic and Roman Egyptian eras, ranging roughly between 32 BC until approximately 640 AD, marking the Muslim conquest of Egypt. Despite the common connotations with the word manuscript, only an estimated 10% of the Oxyrhynchus Papyri are literary, with the majority being comprised of documents such as codes, registers, census returns, petitions, court records, accounts, and even private letters, as opposed to being extended pieces of written work. This is not uncommon in papyrology, with correspondence and legal archives being as significant an element as the literary works. Most of the Oxyrhynchus Papyri were written in Greek, with a great deal also being produced in Egyptian, using hieroglyphics, both hieratic and demotic. Some other languages seen include Latin, Arabic, Hebrew, Aramaic, Syriac, and Pahlavi, though in decreasing percentages. This presents a grand opportunity for etymological research as well as archaeological, delving into the history and development of each of these individual languages. Since their initial discovery in 1898, over 5,000 of these documents have been transcribed, a momentous achievement considering this information stemmed from boxes filled with tiny fragments and pieces, mere centimetres large. Despite so much having been achieved, this is considered to have only 1 to 2% of the papyri accounted for, leaving a minimum of 500,000 manuscripts left to be prepared, transcribed, and deciphered before the final step, cataloguing. Today, the Oxyrhynchus Papyri are stored worldwide in respected institutions, including Oxford University's Ashmolean Museum. These documents have given us a whole host of information, from the written words on topics from maths to drama to religion to the practices and processes of ancient societies.
So, what do you make of these interesting Egyptian discoveries? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.